I'm Jason Wilde in Green Bay. Jesse Nelson is in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios. If only I knew someone who was well connected with Badgers football and American Family Insurance, because that is a good-looking hoodie. I'm very envious. He is the Packers Hall of Famer. He's Mark Tausch. Tausch, good morning. How are you?
I think I'm doing all right. I'm having a couple.
Don't look like it.
I'm having a couple of little minor issues here that I think will get worked out, but I'm doing fine. I am, going through the post game and listening to a lot of fans. There's a lot of. I feel like prisoner of the moment, and I, for one, looking back at this season, I think we hoped. And I should learn lessons from Kenny Rovak, our old general manager, when I first started, in saying hope is not a strategy. I should have known, and I think you were really onto this last week. I mean, I picked Philadelphia to beat Green Bay yesterday.
You did. Mm-hmm.
I think when a coach is talking about after Game 17, Week 18, how sloppy, how disjointed your group is still on offense, listen to them. And I think we hoped, it was a preseason game. It was this. You see a body of work for 17 weeks. You can play out of your over your skis a couple times. You're not going to do it on a consistent basis to get through that road. And this team has shown, a la Denny Green, they are who they were. They are who we thought they were. They're a good, solid football team that can beat good to below average football teams. They didn't beat anybody any good, and they ended up going 0 for 2 against what I think most people now, myself included, will tell you. And after the Vikings beat us, I crowned them. I put them ahead of Green Bay. I didn't want to, but I did.
You did, yep.
They're not an upper echelon NFC team as we sit here today. And those are the cold, hard facts, I think, for all of us that were hoping that wasn't going to be the case. That is. It was the case, and the playoffs will expose you one way or the other. They will highlight you, and they will rip at your weaknesses. This passing game was disjointed and was not very good the back half of the season, especially the last 3 or 4 games. And in the playoffs, for whatever reason, the injuries, that is a concern, no doubt. That was an excuse if you want to. You can't win turning it over and not playing a clean. If they play a clean game yesterday, they beat Philadelphia. But they haven't played a clean game against good teams all season. So nothing is a big shock to me. I was listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on the way in this morning, and they kind of hit it on the head. This is not one of those losses that I feel a heck of a lot more, okay, this is who we are, than last year when we lost a great opportunity to beat a team we should have beat. Yesterday, it was Philly gave us every opportunity, and we weren't good enough to do it. The defense held you in this game, and you played like absolute junk, and it's a 6-point game with 14 minutes to go in the game. So it is not. This team was not good enough to win a championship. Last year, I think they could have. This year, they weren't. And it came to an end, and there's no more heartbreak ahead. This was who this team was. They were a low-end playoff team, and they couldn't make any jumps. So I am not going to sit here and act like I'm shocked and distraught today, even though I felt like this team could have been better, but they weren't. They are who we thought they were.
So how do they compare to the expectations that we put on them heading into the season?
Okay.
Because I thought you made some really good points after the game. And one of them was, the Jordan Love contract, the way he was playing the position as well, if not better, than anybody in the league in the second half of last season.
For sure. And in the playoffs. And in the playoffs till the fourth quarter. Yep.
No doubt. And so, and if you remember, one of the conversations we had was, I'm really eager to see what it looks like next season when defensive coordinators have 19 games of film on him, right? And he did not. I still stand by my belief that he did not regress. He went through what happens to second-year starters. I think there's a lot of growth
linear,
that
right?
occurred. Right?
It's not
Yes,
linear.
I've heard that before. There was growth there, but he did not make the leap that a lot of people were crowning him as. And you said it to Homer, the next Hall of Famer and all this other stuff. It's hard, man. The position is hard. It takes time to get really, really, really good. And I don't know where he ultimately will land, but if his accuracy doesn't improve, if his consistency doesn't improve, and if Matt LaFleur doesn't figure out a way to get the play action game going again, then it's going to be a struggle for him in the coming years. He's going to be good, but not good enough.
I would say this, and I am as guilty as anybody is on this. We crowned him off of what we saw the last 8 weeks last year. Mm-hmm. We did, and we expected to see a big jump. I don't know how anybody, myself as a Packer homer, could sit here and tell you that he didn't regress a little bit. He did not have any. There were no games, 4-quarter games that he played anywhere nearly as well as he did in the back half of last. There wasn't. Tell me which one I'm missing, and I will be more than happy to hear it. So I don't know how you could say that's not a regression, Jason. I think you just don't want to use the word. We won't put it up on social, but you can't.
No. Wait a minute. Now, so here's the thing about my belief about growth, and that is he was god-awful during the first half of last season at a lot of points.
Yep.
And I think while his highs weren't as high as they were during that second half stretch, which again, let's not lose sight of the fact, for as good as he was during that 8-game finish to the regular season and the Cowboys playoff game, he was not good in New York against the Giants. He was not good against Tampa, even though I think his numbers look like they were. They certainly weren't as good as Baker Mayfield's were that day. But again, I didn't think the lows were as low. And I thought if I use his injuries to grade on a slight curve, not a steep curve, not one where in calculus at UW-Madison a 60% was an A, and I got a 25% and still got an F, and that's why I dropped the class. But if you look at the injuries he dealt with early in the season, how that affected him not practicing, not stepping into throws, I think he got into some bad habits because of it. But I do think that there was growth despite that. And so I'm not afraid of saying regression.
I think that's a fair point because he didn't have the stink bot games that he did early in this. But that's not really – I wasn't basing him off of the first 6 or 7 games last year. I was basing it off of what we saw at the end. And there was not one time throughout this regular season and postseason game that I felt like – he was going to turn it and dominate for 4 quarters like we saw at some points last season. There's a lot of reasons for that. I still firmly believe there's a lot of people saying, when can we get out from his contract? No. Jordan Love is a good player. Is he ever going to be able to be – was what we saw last year going to be the pinnacle? I certainly hope not, and I don't believe that. I think there's a lot of other factors that go into what we've seen from him. But I would have loved to see more than what we did. And is that asking too much? No, I don't think so. No. And it's on Matt LaFleur. Jordan, I love the fact that he took us off with not being 100%. He went out there, he put himself out there when probably a lot of players wouldn't have. His attitude, what Matt LaFleur said after the game, I think we should all, as Packer fans, be very optimistic about Jordan Love. But that doesn't mean we have to sit here and salivate over, he did not have the year I hoped. He didn't. I hoped he would be a top 3 quarterback in the NFC. He was not. He was not consistent enough. To play this position, you can't turn the ball over as much as he did, and then there just wasn't as much dynamic plays as I had hoped. There were some, but over a consistent basis, and when you had to have it, it wasn't there consistently enough. And that, I think, is a big part of why this season spiraled when we played really good teams. You have to be really good. You have to elevate. If Jordan Love plays a normal, consistent, good game yesterday, they beat Philadelphia. Period. Thin. The defense did everything you could. He was a little too sloppy with the football. Slay made a great play. I ain't mad about that one. But the one to Bond, you go down and get that thing to 10. What was it at that point? Was it 10-0 or was it 10-3 as that was going? But Bond picked it off.
It was 10-0.
If you go get a touchdown or a field goal and it's 10-3 at the half instead, you feel a heck of a lot better about where you're at. Those are the little things, and we saw it all season. Detroit, Minnesota, you saw those turnovers in the critical parts of the game. That's another thing that Jordan's going to have to get better at. But I just want to be crystal clear. Jordan Love is our franchise quarterback. I like the fact that he is our franchise quarterback. And I do think he will get a lot better. I don't think he took the jump that I hoped, and I don't know what the Packer organization feels like, but I know they felt like they could win that game yesterday, and all they needed to do was play a good, clean game, and unfortunately, the special teams and the offense didn't allow that to happen.
So we'll get into more of the conversation about Jordan Love, and Lord knows we'll have plenty to talk about this offseason. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. That is the Carbless Talk and text line. Less is more. You can text in, but we are taking calls as we do every Monday. Get lined up now. We will get to as many as we can during the course of the next 3 hours. Now, let's shift briefly from Love to the team as a whole, because the points you made about the defense are spot on. With Jeff Hafley and with Xavier McKinney, this defense was undeniably, meaningfully, significantly better this season.
No doubt.
So they took a step forward, and a large step forward, as a defense this season. Special teams, once they figured out the kicking situation. I mean, look, let's be honest. What else the only thing that could have gone worse for them in the first half was if that first overthrow that Love had been picked off, right? The Keyshawn Nixon fumble. McManus, who had missed one kick since he got here, misses a chip shot field goal.
Yep.
The turnovers by Love. I mean, the interception to Bond. Look, at that point, they're in Philadelphia territory. They've crossed the 50-yard line. They have somehow stayed within 10-0 with the defense. I mean, look, Jalen Hurts had 6.75 seconds to throw that first touchdown. But after that, they were really good defensively. So they had every opportunity, but they lose Elton Jenkins. I mean, I'm not blaming injuries. I would have liked to have seen Jordan Morgan be able to come off the bench as opposed to Travis Glover and Telly Monster, Kadeem Telfort, because both of those guys clearly not ready to play in a playoff game.
No, they were not.
So you put those pieces together.
If I'm Elton Jenkins, I'm going in for a big raise.
Yeah,
he showed his valuability, how valuable he is.
So my question for you, and I guess this is kind of my overarching question for our fans as well, in addition to positives and negatives, is how positive do you feel about this season and this team moving forward, and how negative do you feel about this team and this season? Because I still believe that, as I said, and I know I'm not a prognosticator, but I am an expectation guy. My expectation was for them to win more games, to improve as a team overall, and not go as far in the playoffs. And that's exactly what happened.
So I'll say this. Defensively, there's no doubt they improved. I think they got better at running back. How on earth can any of us sit here and say the passing game is better than it was last year?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking
you.
You just said that they've improved. How?
Right. On balance,
the passing game did not improve at all. Passing game went better.
Was their offense better or worse than last year?
I think our offense was better. I think our offense last year finished much better. Our offense going into the playoffs with Aaron Jones and what we had last year is much better than what we saw the last 3 weeks.
Yeah,
not even close.
Disagree, but over the full body of work, not just how they looked going into the playoffs.
I think outside of Tucker Kraft, I think the offense was better. I do.
Last year.
Obviously, our tailback position different. But with Aaron Jones healthy at the end of the year, Josh Jacobs is a man. He is a dog. But with what that does, and this was a conversation I had last night, and I don't know the answer. I would hope someone will ask, was Jordan Love healthy enough to go from under center? Because is this all about Josh Jacobs liking to be in gun? Because you're now limiting what you can do with play action, and that's kind of the secret sauce of what we do.
No doubt.
Somebody's got to figure out how we can get some play action out of that, because that really limited what we did. And the fact that we weren't more aggressive on first and second down, I said all last week, if you're going to hand the ball off and we're going to sit in 3rd and 5+, we're going to get beat, and our offense is going to struggle. I can't look at what we did passing the football and try to tell me that we're better than we were last year. I can't, and I won't. Now, Josh Jacobs is a better running back than Aaron Jones on the whole. But for what Matt LaFleur wanted to do with the hard outside zone and all of the stuff that comes with it, I don't know. There's a disconnect there, and that has to get figured out, because Josh Jacobs is the man. He should be and he will be. But we have to figure out, well, what can we do to marry this stuff up to make this another big part of what we're going to do? Because if it's going to be maybe it'll be RPO, tuck, ride, and then pull and throw. I don't know, but there was none of it yesterday. And Philadelphia continued to show how many times did they bring the guy down on the line of scrimmage, stem down, put 5 down linemen, and say, let's see what you got in the passing game. And what did we do? We handed the ball off. We got 1.5 yards. That was the first half of football. Go back and look at the film. Stem down, rock in. They got big dudes in the middle. Hey, let's try that cute little trap play. Yeah, that's cute, but we got 5 guys down there pinching, and then we're going to blow Elton Jenkins' shoulder out. All right, cute. What's your adjustment? I don't know. I didn't see it. That's it.
So, all right. I want to get to calls. I want to get to our positives and negatives.
How different is the game if Keyshawn doesn't fumble and we don't give up 7 right away?
Well, that's a whole nother.
I do have an update from my guy Dean, because I was wrong on part of it.
Okay.
So I'll get to that.
So because I want to understand that, and I'm glad you reached out to Dean Blandino, the best in the business, and also available to officiate your wedding. I don't know the answer to your question about Keyshawn. We'll get to that. My question for you is, when you look at the offseason and what Matt LaFleur has to do, I don't think there is anything, number one, more than anything else, is to figure out how to resuscitate the play-action game in your new Josh Jacobs is our workhorse back world. Because I just keep thinking about Joe Thomas and Matt Hasselbeck coming on our show back in 2019, and the first 3 steps by the quarterback, you don't know if it's a run or a pass. And when you're in pistol and shotgun, that is gone. That is not part of what you're doing. And so figuring that piece out, to me, is the biggest challenge that Matt LaFleur faces. If he is as good of an offensive mind as I believe him to be, he has to figure that out. And my question for you before we break, is that something you can figure out on the fly during a season, or is that something that requires a lengthy, deep dive into redesigning things to fit your duo blocking scheme and to fit your running back, who doesn't necessarily? And again, I want to ask Josh that. How does he feel about handoffs from the quarterback under center
be a great
versus
question.
handoffs from shotgun? So these are the questions that I have. But for you, is that something they could have done?
You could have definitely done some sprinkling. Now, whether or not you can revamp the whole thing, no, you probably can't. But you can add a play. I'm not asking you to do 50 of them, but if you're going to be out of gun and do as much of what they did with the duo and some of the other stuff, we had plays when KB U71 would come in. We had backside slants. There was other stuff to do. And I think that's another thing. There's going to be a retinkering utilizing Josh's strengths, which he has been awesome. But there has to be some other wrinkles that come. You could have wrinkled some things. They didn't.
Wrinkled and sprinkled.
Not not what I saw, and I think that is why you saw the offense struggle as much as it did, because that is a big part of where when Jordan had started ripping stuff off last year, it wasn't always 3rd and 10. It was for early downs. Think back to the Detroit game in Thanksgiving. First play of the game, play action deep ball. That all of a sudden loosens everything else up. None of that throughout the last couple weeks, and it's easy to critique and do all that. I understand that there's nuances with everything, but there were no wrinkles. It was as vanilla, right. And obviously Fangio knew what the hell was going on, because there were no surprises yesterday. None.
Well, Tausch, there aren't any surprises when it comes to Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. You get top-of-the-line quality. And if you're smart enough to make it to the Hope Show, you can get your picture taken with Gina Della last week.
I haven't gotten an update. I will see Gina tomorrow, and she'll give me a full update on how the Hope Show went. I'm sure it was a big success. Happy New Year! Means a lot of rough days ahead for those who suffer from seasonal affective disorder, and plenty of a lot of gray, frigid days. It's especially cold, both from a Packer standpoint and just outside, out on the horizon. We all just want to be snugly and warm at our house. Pella can make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. Celebrate the new year. 0 interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Hurry up, though. You only have until January 31st, so visit PellaWI.com today to learn more. Certain restrictions do apply.
We'll get to our positives and negatives, then we'll get to your calls. So get lined up. 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Locker cleanout day today, 11:05 for us to go into the locker room. We'll see who's there and who says what. But we want to get to your calls coming up. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. The Homer Hour with special guests every day from 5 to 6.
Right now, they'd be a toss-up with the herd.
People just don't know how funny mean you are.
Come on.
Well, I mean, that's mean, but it's funny, and the funny trumps the mean, and so you laugh.
But there might be some truth to that.
Of course there's some truth to it.
The Homer Hour with Homer, weekdays from 5 to 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN and streaming live on YouTube.
We all experience daily struggles, and with so many concerns to be conscious of, breathing should not be one of them. Mark Tauscher here for Advent, and if you're like me and have had snoring issues, sinus problems, or difficulty breathing, then you'll want to meet the team at Advent. The team of Advent specialists have a few simple steps to help evaluate your individual limitations and get you back to breathing well. Since Advent addressed my snoring and nasal breathing issues, I feel great. I've never slept better. My wife, Sarah, is incredibly appreciative. The team of Advent specialists listened to my struggles, found the best solution for me, and customized it to my needs. Take my word for it and go to adventknows.com to learn more about simple solutions to snoring, sleep apnea, and nasal breathing problems. And schedule your appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Do you want to have more fun watching the NFL playoffs? Try playing Sleeper Picks. Just download the Sleeper app today and pick more or less on at least 2 players' projected stats. You can win up to 100 times your cash. For a limited time, Sleeper has a special offer. New users have to just play $5 and they'll receive $55 in free entries. Just download the Sleeper app today and use code BRAD, B-R-A-D. Must be 18 years or older. Promo code, location, and other restrictions apply. Minimum deposit $25. See terms of use for details. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-426-2537 for help.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this winter? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
Bucks fans, join us for our 414 All Nights, a celebration of our diverse fan base, where we showcase fan stories and highlight their unique and impactful contributions to our community. Come for the amazing Bucks basketball action. Stay for the recognition of our amazing fan base at our 414 All Nights, where diversity is embraced and every fan is celebrated. Go to bucks.com/impact for dates and details.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, Southeastern Wisconsin's beer, liquor, and wine headquarters. For over 60 years, 7 different decades, all as a local family-owned business. Discount Liquor has a selection with over 14,000 varieties of beer, liquor, and wine in stock, along with everyday low prices, expert service, and convenience with 2 locations. But don't just take my word for it. Let's check out some online reviews. Robert wrote, "There's not a better liquor store around. Nobody even comes close to their beer selection. The only issue? I get brain overload because there are so many choices." And Aubrey recalled, "I went in looking for a very specific and rare dessert wine. They not only knew of it, but special ordered it and called us when it was available for pickup. Just can't beat their service." Thanks, Robert and Aubrey, for your kind words and patronage. Discount Liquor in Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma and in downtown Waukesha on Main and Barstow.
For general contest rules, visit espnwisconsincontest.com.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
I see the light go past my shoulder. I'm one less day from dying young.
844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. We'll get going with the calls momentarily.
So,
Tausch,
Jason, quickly, Jen from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy just texted me and gave me some great little snippet about what we were just talking about. How many play action passes did the G&G run yesterday, do you think?
4.
3.
Hey, that's pretty close.
3 blanking play action passes. Well, how do you think we did on those 3?
3 interceptions?
1 for 3 for 14 blanking yards. And what is
14
supposed
yards
to be
for completion.
Supposed to be a staple of what we're doing, and that's what we're doing? Huh?
Vince Lombardi, what the hell's going on out here?
Something is up, and I am fascinated to find out if it is a Josh Jacobs thing, if it's a Jordan Love thing, but that was one of the keys because they just sat back and then they stemmed down and said, all right, we don't think you can do anything about this. And you know what? They were right. You couldn't.
Tausch, what was your biggest positive, if you have some?
It was defensively what Jeff Hafley and his group was able to put together. This isn't rocket science, and there's not a ton else.
No, there isn't.
But to limit with 4 turnovers, you lose the turnover margin, you can't get out of your own way, and you continue to hold up, giving your team an opportunity to maybe find themselves. I legitimately thought after Bond picked that pass off, if they go down and score a touchdown, we'll start the postgame. 17 points felt like it could have been 50 yesterday.
Yeah, you're right.
And for them to hold on and for Josh Jacobs to bulldog his way down there and get this thing to a 6-point game, I thought, you know what, this is just one of those deals. Maybe we can steal one. But unfortunately, then the defense has probably its worst possession or sequence of the day. They go down and Goddard does what he does, and this thing is Rhapsody USA. So all in all, though, Jeff Hafley is a dog. I'm nervous. We had callers last night saying, fire LaFleur, bring Hafley in because he's going to go get the Jacksonville job. I certainly hope he stays. I certainly hope Jacksonville doesn't interview him or hire him because I think with Jeff Hafley and Xavier McKinney and Edgerrin Cooper and some of the other pieces that will get brought in, you have to be really excited about the direction. This team took you talk about progression. This team took monster steps defensively, and they did it in the biggest moments, and unfortunately the rest of the team couldn't keep up with that progress.
So Jacobs scores to make it 16-10 on the first play of the fourth quarter.
14:56 left. It's a 6-point game.
And then what follows is a 13 play, 58 yard, 7 minute, 23-second drive.
Yeah, that was a gut punch.
They convert a 4th and 1 with the tush push. They pick up a couple of, they had 2 holding penalties. They overcame one of them.
Yeah, garbage 15-yard penalty. What are they? You
You
can't call that in a playoff game. Come on. The one on Slayton is completely justified. The other one is just dumb. That was not a good call.
So let's skip over the let's skip over our positives and negatives because
other positive Tucker Kraft tush push.
Yeah, I love
it.
We've seen that before.
Just line up though. I mean, they know it's coming, right?
So tell us what Dean Blandino said about the opening fumble, because that I would like to get to before calls.
All right. So I just texted him and said, hey, a lot of fans are curious about this. My point before I get to Dean's was the fumble recovery part of it. It's going to be very tough to flip that, even though you saw.
Boy, that video was pretty clear to me.
It was, but he was on a body, is not down. There's jostling, and if it was called the other way, no doubt, but it was. So I'm not going to sit and cry about that. You could say that the video showed it, and I'm totally on board with it. From a Packer fan standpoint, it should have been Green Bay Packer football all day. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm clear about that.
And then they go 3 and out and punt, but still.
Different. No doubt. So I thought the hit was a foul for UOH, which...
Whoa! Wait a minute. This is Dean Blandino saying this? Because Twitter was telling me I was an idiot for suggesting this.
I actually would tell you you're an idiot, too, because he wasn't a defenseless player, right? He's a ball carrier. He lowered his head, too. So I disagree with Dean, but Dean obviously knows a hell of a lot more about officiating than I do.
Indeed.
Lowered the head and made forcible contact with the helmet.
Crown of the helmet, yeah.
Sure looked like to me Packers recovered, but I had a feeling that they would go with the call as stands. So then I said, boy, I didn't know about the defenseless helmet. He said, doesn't have to be defenseless.
Yes!
Hold up. Sorry. For UOH... doesn't have to be defenseless, but agree he did lower his head too, which makes it much more difficult to call. But by rule, the fact that he lowered the runner, lowered his head, does not factor in. Should have been a penalty, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. That's Dean Blandino, people. That's not me.
Yeah.
That's not Tausch. So, and the guy
by
knows
the way,
what he's doing.
if that is a flip side and the Packers do that, I want the Packers to get that ball. If a Packers person is doing
Agreed.
that,
Sure.
This was not a wide receiver running over the middle and Chuck Cecil headhunting. This was a good, hard football play. That's why I was not going to pout about the crown to crown. It is what it is. It's not defenseless. The fact that you had an overhead shot of old boy with the ball, yes. I don't know why I understand, and it's not. I don't know how the game changes. I know this: Philadelphia's offense was just as putrid as ours. It was.
Yeah.
Well, and all of a sudden,
a game, they didn't turn the ball over.
A game that is only 3-0 instead of 10 in a game like yesterday when offense was at a premium changes the way you go about your business. It just does.
No doubt. All right. We'll get to your calls next after Tausch tells us about American Family Insurance and what AmFam's got going on right now.
Well, Sarah and I, it's winding down. American Family Insurance, they love to give back to the community, especially the American Family Children's Hospital, and we have joined up with them for a $50,000 match. We are close. We got till the 17th. Go to amfam4kids.org if you have any, if you want to jump in and help out, get us to our finish line. We're very close. Again, it helps all with the therapeutics over at the American Family Children's Hospital. You can go to amfam4kids.org. We have until the 17th. We are getting there. I think we're very, very close. If you have it in you, go ahead, try to do that. Sarah and I are pushing hard to get this thing across the finish line. Thanks again for all your guys' support throughout the holiday season, and we got 4 days left to get it done.
844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Now's your chance to get things off your chest, but I do have an overarching question, and that is, how positive do you feel about this team going forward, And how negative do you feel about this team going forward? How are you balancing that as a Packers fan? 844-770-3776. We'll get to your calls next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
We're on air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcasts for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Every so often in medicine, something comes along that is truly revolutionary.
Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, former orthopedic surgeon, now National Medical Director at QC Kinetics.
I believe this is one of those things.
Dr. Scheinkup is talking about regenerative medicine, something he's practiced, researched, and written about for nearly 2 decades.
The old ways of dealing with joint pain, such as steroids and surgery, are no longer the best ways.
If you have pain from arthritis or injury, you owe it to yourself to learn more about this exciting option, using your own body's natural power to get lasting relief. And there's no better place to learn than QC Kinetics.
There is no one in this country today with more clinics, more satisfied patients, more advanced protocols, or more experience in using this exciting option to deliver life-changing results.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you could win over $2,000 in free play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, the certainty of protection and income are the keys to success. And as a former NFL player myself, I have experience with both. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game films helped me mentally prepare for the challenges ahead. Now I star in a new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception to help you visualize and prepare for your fourth quarter of life. You see, you don't retire on your nest egg, but rather the income it can produce. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. And it's free for you to view. Call 855-620-1801 right now for your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Don't risk your retirement savings at the goal line. You don't need to be risky to have a winning strategy. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Call today. 855-620-1801. That's 855-620-1801. MitchLyonsWealth.com. Your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Austin here from our friends at Best Electric Service. An A-plus Better Business Bureau family owned and operated who have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's making panel upgrades to your home, new LED in lighting, electric vehicle charging, and all residential service calls. Best Electric provides quality service at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric Service. Find out more at bestelect.com.
It's my nature to be fearless.
Gruber Law Offices presents Thanalysis.
One day it's all gonna end. What am I scared of?
A podcast from Thanasis Antetokounmpo.
I've airball free throws. I've turned the ball over. I've missed game-winning shots.
Also supported by Carbless, premium ready-to-drink cocktails.
I don't care, man. I only live once. Can't go back.
And Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee.
There's nothing for me to fear.
Subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
When you come into somebody else's house against a really good football team, you can't start the way that we did, and to fumble the opening kick and then them turn it into a touchdown and be set down 7-0 from the jump. It was obviously too much to overcome.
That is Matt LaFleur last night in Philadelphia. We're not sure what day this week he will speak or when Goody will speak, but the locker room cleanout, which is a depressing day, is it not, Old T?
Sad. Yeah, because this is it. Like this group, even though I think there's going to be more people sticking around than normal
no
in the
doubt.
locker room, you're not going to have the same crew. There's going to be a different chemistry, and it's the end of this chapter in a book that you're reading on the sideline.
By the way, when I love your guy Elon and what Twitter does now, because if you have a good tweet that gets engagement, like my tweet about the Nixon play to start, it gets into people's feeds in the For You section. And now I have all these Eagles fans telling me to cope harder, and Packers fans are struggling, and he lowered his head. This is why people like Dean Blandino are so valuable to have at our disposal, because I don't really care what Eagles fans think, but they all are saying Nixon lowered his head. It's a form tackle. Okay, we just want
definitely wasn't a form tackle, but I understand why it wasn't called. And just for the record, I don't want that called. You have two bulls going at it. This is not the defenseless scenario. That's what that rule is made for. By the way, the other thing, too, let's get rid of the stiff arm. And I'm not saying that just because Valentine got stiff-armed into oblivion.
He did.
You can't sit here and say it's already incredibly difficult for defensive guys to tackle people. Really tough. And now you're saying, well, you can get punched in the face and in your face mask, and it's no big deal.
Twice. Yeah.
I've said this for years. Let's implement it. And I know that'll take away some stuff, and it won't happen because it's an offensive league. But
Indeed.
You're already asking to lower the strike zone. Oh, by the way, and also fend off Derrick Henry punching you in the face 3 times. Or Dallas Goedert punching you in the face, punking you, making you look like a fool. It's tough. It is not fun to be a defensive player.
No, it's not. More fun to be a right tackle. All right, let's get to your calls. 844-770-3776. Let's begin in California with Moose. Moose, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Hey, thanks for taking my call. Disappointing end of season. I think my positive, certainly, as you've been mentioning all morning, has been the defense. Particularly, the charge that I saw McKinney take over on the sideline, sitting there talking to Valentine after that embarrassing stiff arm. And that sort of thing, I think, is a reflection of Hafley. There's no doubt in my mind that he's got these guys playing and ready to play for each one of the games. Unfortunately, on the negative side, it's the opposite with LaFleur. I know, and it's probably been brought up a number of times, what happened to the boy wonders who had all these great offensive plans and offensive plays that were innovative. I've seen none of that the last 4 games. Same old thing. I could call each one of the plays that he's going to play on every single play. So to me, if I can figure it out, and I'm a longtime fan, football guy, but I'm no coach. I'm no expert. I can figure it. I'm pretty sure that Vic Fangio got all that down. So he's got to change in the off season. There's no doubt that he better develop some of that Ben Johnson type of innovation, because right now it's stale.
So this is a great
Is it Ben
point,
Johnson
Moose.
stuff, or is it Amon St. Brown? You know what I mean? Is it James?
No, I don't know what you mean.
Is it that Ben Johnson is such a guru, or is it I got a guy that I can target 40 times and we're going to get 39 completions? Who's that guy for Green Bay?
Yeah, but thanks for the call, Moose. I think this is a really fascinating conversation that we will have in the coming days and weeks too. But when Matt LaFleur, I keep going back to this, and I know I sound like a broken record, But when Matt LaFleur said after the Vikings game, you got to win. We got to win our one-on-one matchups. Our receivers have to win their one-on-one matchups. You know who that sounded like?
Goody, get me a wide out. Mike McCarthy.
No, that sounded like Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
And the whole idea of a Matt LaFleur offense was he schemes guys open.
With play action.
And to Moose's point.
With play action pass.
Right. No doubt that is a huge component of that. And when you don't do that, and you don't scheme guys open, and by the way, your quarterback is still developing to improve his accuracy as a thrower, you know what helps your accuracy?
Wide open guys.
If you don't have to throw into tight windows, you don't have to be quite as accurate, right? So to me, that is the biggest concern that I would have about this offense. I don't think that Jordan Love suddenly stinks. Now, again, I didn't think in terms of the contract as much as fans seem to be thinking. I just viewed that as the cost of doing business in today's NFL. And
yeah, but they didn't have to pay him. They didn't.
I mean, they could have played hardball with
Yep.
him. You're right. And Jacksonville didn't have to pay Trevor Lawrence, and Miami didn't have to pay Tua.
Well, let's not put. I mean, Jordan Love is above both of those players.
Agreed. But if we're going to say that, well, he didn't live up to his contract, then what are those guys doing?
Well, we don't care about those guys in that
But
picture.
what I'm saying is that is what I mean by it's the cost of doing business.
Yes, there's no doubt.
That is what the position costs.
It is. It is what it is, and you just feel good. You hope to feel good about what you're doing. I don't think Green Bay by any stretch is having any buyer's remorse there. I think they have buyer's remorse with Kenny Clark. And I'm guessing they probably have some big buyer's remorse with Jair. Jair's not going to play in Green Bay anymore. Rashawn Gary will be back another year, but it's going to be big. Do you think, where would you put this? We'll wait. This is how my mind works.
Ask the question and we'll save it.
Matt LaFleur, not on the hot seat, but his seat is definitely, he's got the heat seaters on. He's hit you got the little button on your Chevy, on my Chevy Tahoe, the little heat seaters. You got 3 buttons where it gets real hot with 3. He's going to be going into next season.
Marks.
He's going to have, I think he's going to be 1 or 2 clicks up. Like his seat's it is not smoking hot, but he's going to be under a lot of scrutiny next season. A lot of scrutiny.
Heated seats or seat heaters. Heat seaters. I'm not sure what those are.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
That's all that really matters. It doesn't. You don't have to get. You really want to start going down that road? We can. I don't think that's what you want to do today.
It's just a Freudian slip.
Heated seats.
It was just funny.
Seat heaters.
What did I
say?
say?
Heat seaters.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I don't.
It was just funny. It was just funny. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to try and find something funny. We will get some more of your calls coming up. 844-770-3776. What?
No, I'm just trying to piece together what just occurred there. Heated seats. What did I say?
Yeah,
seated heaters?
Kinda.
Heat seaters is what you said. And that was funny to me. I'm sorry. Not a lot to laugh about as the Packers season comes to an end. 22-10. Jordan Love with 3 interceptions. The Packers lose the turnover battle 4-0, and their season is over. More of your calls next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. Even when you think you know what's going on, you can never be too sure.
Really? 7 losses in a row? Last in the Horizon League, Doug? Spend less time on social media and more in the gym.
Packers, nonsense, chaos.
That's the whole thing, Jen. I do have that in me, and I never, ever bar back. But I'm like, this is over the top, and if you want to come at me, I'm going to come at you.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
It started with a prediction.
Gonna go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. And it is playoff time, now or never. Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Prize Picks, the best way to win real money this football season. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money. Download the app today. Use code WI. You get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
For your fellow fanatics and your #1 fans, for your game day compatriots and your personal cheerleaders, for all the reasons you smile, get covered with dental and vision insurance from Delta Dental of Wisconsin and Delta Vision. Support your overall health so you can be your best for those who matter to you most. Call Eric Pearson. Eric Pearson, Saganiac Planning, 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. The Saganiac Planning Marquette Records. Marquette's best scorer ever? It doesn't matter who has the most career points. Most points in a game, Marcus Howard, 53. Marcus Howard, 52. Marcus Howard, 51. And Marcus Howard with 45 twice. Yep, top 5 games ever, all by Marcus Howard. A good question, who scored the most points for Marquette not named Marcus Howard? Tony Smith and Mike Moran at 44. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this winter? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
Who's looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
I think there's obviously areas that I improved on, the team improved on, and there's some stuff that I'd want to clean up, I want to be better at, for sure. So, that's the nature of the game. It's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be things to get better at, improve on. But, that'll be definitely part of the offseason. Let's go back, watch the games, just make lists of things I can improve on and be better at. But, I think we did some really good things as an offense, and I think there's a lot of stuff that we left out there that we could have done a lot better.
A lot of stuff they left out there in a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why their season is over. Packers lose to the Eagles 22-10. And now on Twitter, we've got Clark figuring out, okay, so Halfley heads to Jacksonville. Saleh steps in as the defensive coordinator. It's all a seamless transition. A lot to be decided.
I hope that doesn't happen.
Coming weeks. Let's get back to the calls. 844-770-3776. I am very, very, very curious if Ricardo in Canada, our beacon of positivity, has recalibrated some of his own views on his favorite football team. Ricardo, good morning. How are things in the 51st state?
Good morning, my good people, my family, my nation. Unfortunately, it's a bad day. It's a sad day, but the sun rises and we prevail and we march on for greater pastures. Season ended disappointing fashion. I'll give you guys a few points on how I feel. First things first. No one better tell me that drafting offensive linemen is not necessary at all times.
Every year, Ricardo.
Every year. If you're over 310, you can move. You're on my team. I don't care what it says. Okay. Second of all, Gutekunst, keep cooking. All right. I have a feeling that this summer he's going to continue to improve the team. Every summer he finds a position of weakness and he fixes it. I feel that's going to be another thing this year. I believe he's going to attack the cornerback position, which necessarily wasn't necessarily a huge weakness, but because of Hafley, after seeing what we have on team, he's going to start killing the defense more towards Hafley type of players. And my last two points: Jordan Love did not play well, but here's the thing about Jordan Love: when you're a QB and you make that much money, you are the tide that needs to raise all boats. It cannot be the other way around. You cannot have a bad game. You need to always outplay the other quarterback. That's the standard. There's no second guessing. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's maybe. No, that's the way it is. You're the QB. You're the top dog. You're the star. That's how you need to play, and that's what's expected of you. And for my final point, this all lands on someone's feet. And I agree with Tausch. It's starting to get warm. Matt LaFleur. Offensive play calling was horrendous. And not only that, his game planning is just bad. How do you go into a game? I've always been taught, and every team I've always seen, you have a backup swing tackle and you have a backup interior lineman. How do we lose a guard and have to use a rookie from the 6th round tackle who's probably never played guard before, and you're putting him in a playoff game? There's nobody else that could have played guard.
Because Jordan Morgan is done for the year. That's how.
6 weeks ago.
Wait a minute.
6 weeks ago.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. If we're going to sit here and give Goody all these flowers, he drafted Travis Glover in the 6th round. He drafted him.
Tackle.
Right, but if
you tackle.
But how does that? Where does that fall? Where does the criticism fall there, Ricardo? Is that on the general manager for not having another option?
Listen, Jason, I own a restaurant. I can give my chef the best steaks, but if he keeps cooking rotten fish, we have a problem. I'm giving you the good ingredients.
Who else do you want? Wait, who else is Matt LaFleur supposed to put in there?
Monkfish, am I right? Good Monk.
Baked Alaska.
No, Monk. You're a guy, Jason.
You have Jacob Monk. He's an interior lineman. Yes. Why is Monk not available to play a position that he's used to playing? At least he'd be adapt to it. Glover looked like a fish out of water.
They didn't even put Jacob Monk in when
Josh
your guy. Myers went out.
That's your guy.
So clearly, they didn't feel like he could hold up either. Right?
But that's my point. There was no plan there. What does LaFleur do? Gutekunst cannot be like, I'm giving you the team. Now LaFleur needs to be like, I need these type of players. I'm pretty sure LaFleur does not ask for a player and Gutekunst tells him to go to hell. I'm pretty sure that's not the conversation that's happening.
Oh, no, I'm pretty sure that Goody makes the choices and LaFleur has to take whatever the ingredients are, that whatever the food is that Ricardo, the restaurateur, buys for his chef, that's what Matt LaFleur gets. Matt LaFleur, since Josiah DeGuara, I'm pretty sure has not had a whole lot of say in who ends up on the roster, Ricardo.
I don't know. We'll agree to disagree, but I still love you.
I'm fascinated. What kind of restaurant does Ricardo have?
I love you guys.
Did you hang up on Ricardo?
I did not.
He hung up.
Okay. You lose Elton Jenkins, it's going to be a loss regardless, just so we're all on the same page. He is the best lineman we have. But that was hard to watch. I didn't like subbing mid-series. I understand he got called for holding.
It was
very ticky-tacky, one of them was. But he struggled. I can't sit there and say not. That's the old, do you have a veteran? You've had 17 weeks. That was not good enough. You can blame Goody, you can blame LaFleur, you can blame whoever you want. There's blame plenty to go around, but they did not have a good solution. You're always more concerned about having a swing tackle. And I think they felt better about that, if that was going to be the case, who they could put out there. It didn't work. And I don't know. I'm kind of with you. That loss, without, you could say Watson, you could say Reed, all this other stuff. Elton Jenkins not being in there showed how valuable he is and what a train wreck it was without him. It was almost to the point where it was putting Gooch in a right guard in the Falcon game. That's almost what I felt like. Not there, but it was closer than I ever thought I'd ever have to bring up again, where it was like, just wait a second. You got to put Gooch out there? No. Gooch? We didn't feel that, thank God, but it was not far off.
All right. Look, Jesse, put that text back up on the video stream. I don't know if I could do this for another hour before I go to the Packers locker room. Okay? We can't. I can't do this. So not only are some of us such Goody stands that we're questioning the roster building and blaming LaFleur for the offensive line problem yesterday when they lose. Like, is everyone down on Matt LaFleur and no one is down on the fact that
people are down on no. People are down on Goody, but
draft picks.
Was this roster? I think there's a couple of things you could point out for Goody. Offensive line is not where I'm going. He's got a good O-line. There's injuries happen. You get thrown into the mix. Young players, it was not an easy. It would have been a heck of a lot easier if these young players would have gotten more. The fact that they had played, and Demoski put this up there, 850 snaps together is absurd. That's awesome. Big reason why I think the offense was able to run the football. There's a lot of reasonings there. But at some point, guys got to go out and play. And when you put them up against Jalen Carter and that group, it's you can play and kind of feel your way into things. You're not feeling your way. If you're Telfort or Glover, you're not feeling your way in. It's, hey, bud, good luck. Good luck. And it did not go as well as Taken went. Let's just put it that way.
From Brent in Indiana, Wilde probably doesn't want to hear this, but it might be time to bring in Dan Orlovsky to help with the offense.
I'm going to say this, and I like Dan. I wouldn't mind if they brought someone with some differing opinions and some different parts, especially if it was somebody that's had success with Josh Jacobs, because they're going to need to do some creative things to try to get some things moving with that play-action game.
Got to get the play-action game back. I can't believe they ran 3 play-action passes yesterday. 3.
That's his bread. By the way,
incredible.
That's bread and butter time, and it was not much grassland butter brewing with that.
Jordan Love threw 33 passes
in a game that was a 6. This wasn't the 20 point.
Right.
This was you were within 10 almost the entire game and down 6 with a full quarter of play left. And you ran the ball pretty. I mean, it was a hard day of running yesterday. But they respected that and continued to stem down. You as a play action pass caller, you see them go to 5 down line or stem into that. That's when there's open spots everywhere. You got to use it. And instead just keep running traps. And it just was not. If you want to say creativity and Matt LaFleur, yesterday is not when you put that tape on.
Nope. You're right. You're right about that. Tausch, tell us a little bit about Fortria so we can all take a road trip to Philadelphia so we can be berated by jerks in the stands.
Well, if that's what you're looking for and you're a masochist, great. If you're just looking to pick up some extra cash to do whatever your heart desires, Fortria's got you covered. Women currently breastfeeding, ages 18 to 45, BMI of 18 to 35, 1 stay, 5 nights, 5 follow-ups, and a phoner. Get a screening payment. That's as simple as can be for $100, and you can also make up to $10,125 for your time and participation. If you refer a friend, you get another $500 per qualified referral. They also have healthy men age 18 to 55, BMI of 18 to 32, one stay of between 4 to 9 nights, $3,875 all the way up to $6,850 for your time and participation. Head over to FortreaClinicalTrials.com. That's Fortrea, Fortrea, clinicaltrials.com.
The 10 o'clock hour starts with more of your calls in 2 minutes. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Do you want to have more fun watching the NFL playoffs? Try playing Sleeper Picks. Just download the Sleeper app today and pick more or less on at least 2 players' projected stats. You can win up to 100 times your cash. For a limited time, Sleeper has a special offer. New users have to just play $5 and they'll receive $55 in free entries. Just download the Sleeper app today and use code BRAD, B-R-A-D. Must be 18 years or older. Promo code, location, and other restrictions apply. Minimum deposit $25. See terms of use for details. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-426-2537 for help.
It's time for the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Wintrust. Get your Golden Eagles essentials by opening Marquette checking from Wintrust today.
The 7th-ranked Golden Eagles rallied from a 14-point first-half deficit to down Georgetown 74-66 at Fiserv Forum. Junior guard Chase Ross led the way with a career-high 27 points to go along with 6 steals and 15 deflections in the victory, as MU notched 16 total steals on the night.
Here's a steal by Chase Ross. Will he launch? Yes!
Yes, he will.
Oh, baby! He brought the hammer so good that Tony Smith loved it.
Stevie Mitchell chipped in 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals of his own. David Joplin added 12 points and 7 rebounds. Marquette improves to 14-2 overall and 5-0 in Big East play. They get a chance to rest up before visiting DePaul on Tuesday.
This has been the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Wintrust, Wisconsin's bank, and the official bank of Marquette University.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as 1 business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Marquette Hall of Famer Tony Smith here. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The 10 o'clock hour, Wilde and Tausch, begins now. Let's get back to your calls right away. Let's start with Eric in Green Bay. Eric, thanks for holding on. What do you got?
You bet. Morning, guys. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. So a quick side note before diving into positives and negatives. Yesterday when Elton Jenkins went down, the first thing I thought of, I think it was back in around like early August, you two had a very spirited debate on, kind of like the 6-man veteran tackle. And I think it was a debate on Goody and, if that's a knock on him that we don't have it. And that kind of showed yesterday. And that's not me ripping on Goody now, but that was, I don't know if you guys recall that argument, but that took up the majority of a show one day. And
hard to keep track of all the arguments,
yeah.
Eric, but I would say this. Andre Dillard was on this roster. Andre Dillard was that guy, and he was inactive yesterday.
Yeah.
And he had cleared the concussion protocol. And going back to Ricardo's point briefly, Tausch, correct me if I'm wrong, but if Jacob Monk, who was a healthy scratch for a good chunk of the season, if they don't go to him first and they go to Glover first, and then if they don't go to him when they bench Glover, the coaches clearly didn't think that Jacob Monk is ready to play in a regular season or a playoff NFL game, right?
That is correct.
That has to be.
And I know he's
case.
the center, and I think that's kind of the thought process of where they're at. But Josh Myers gets hurt when old boy lunges into him, which is there's nothing worse. And you lunge, you miss, you give up a sack, and you almost blow your teammate's knee out. Not good, Bob. So, yes, if they felt like he was ready to go, they would have put him out there. At that point, they were searching for anything. That means there's a lot of work to be done.
And then Myers goes out, and they move Sean Ryan to center, and they play Telford at one guard and Glover at the other.
Yeah, it was Gooch. It was in the Gooch area at that point. But it's tough. You lose one guy, it's tough, especially a guy as good as Elton, and you lose two, it makes it even trickier, and obviously that showcased itself.
Eric, what else you got? Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. We'll start with negatives. I think really both the positives and negatives today are going to be all about just kind of general vibes. You guys said this earlier, but yesterday, right? You're in the fourth quarter. We're down 6, and it felt like we were still down 30. There were points in that game that it just didn't seem like we had that rallying voice, whether it was Love on the sidelines or. The big thing is everybody points to LaFleur, right? And I don't know, maybe you guys have some insight on this as far as like when this started, but the dude still just seems tense, and everything looks like he's pressing. It reminds me of like a baseball player in a slump or like a volume shooter in basketball that's just not hitting. And some of these calls, like the time management at the end, I mean, again, didn't mean anything, no, but handing it off there with Josh Jacobs out. Some of these, red zone plays, third, fourth down, and then just his body language after whenever it pans out to him, dude just seems like he's pressing, and it didn't seem like that was the case. I'm not sure. Like last year, they were trying to temper expectations, right? Jordan Love is new. We'll kind of lay the tracks down as we go. And I think overall, everybody just played more loose. But that's my negative thing now that the expectations are higher, it just seems like he's become less creative and just more tense. So negative there, vibes. And then, positive is kind of the same thing. And I'll just kind of turn that to this show. It's been a fun year. And that's kind of I think as fans, we're fortunate to have you guys 5 days a week. And I would say, speaking for probably most of the listeners here, we spend a lot more time listening, analyzing, and talking about the green and gold, even more than we do end up watching them, right? Just one day a week. So it's been a heck of a year. It's always kind of bittersweet when it ends because there's, certain segments, things we do, Steinhaus sleepers, headlines, et cetera, that kind of come to an end. But appreciate you guys showing up every day and, giving us good content and stuff to talk about, forming a community, whether it's with the regular callers, the YouTube dwellers. It's been a fun year, so appreciate you too.
Thank you,
appreciate
Eric.
Put him in the Hall of Fame.
But Eric,
love you guys.
Put Eric in the Hall of Fame.
As much as I appreciate his kind words, I think he made a really good point in there that we don't necessarily have to further explore extensively now. But you obviously got some attention for talking about how Kevin O'Connell ate his lunch in that game in Minnesota.
And I think LaFleur agreed with me on that.
Yeah, I agree. Yes. My point is that I think Eric is right. It is almost as if, and maybe Aaron Rodgers, for all his foibles and faults, was an amazing security blanket for a first-time head coach the first few years, where even if he wasn't on his game, he knew that his quarterback would bail him out.
Yep, that. But also, Jason, he was also a shield with a lot of criticism, kind of taking some of the heat because people were going to criticize Aaron Rodgers almost more so than Matt LaFleur too. I think Matt LaFleur. Here's how I feel like the arc of Matt LaFleur went. Eggshell walking, trying to figure out how to maneuver with this MVP. He was always backseat Matt. Then he got up to the front and he's driving, and his seat was not warm. It was nice and comfy. Oh, we get Jordan Love. And you had some fun with it. There's not expectations. And then as the expectations got, I felt like Matt took it on himself because it was his. He was now the guy driving it, getting it going, and it was his deal. And this year, I just think the expectations, and I'm not going to say they overwhelmed him. I'm not going to do that. I do think he felt it. I think he felt it a lot.
I agree, dude.
He wants it so bad, guys. I love that about Matt LaFleur. He is there's a lot of really good things about Matt LaFleur as a coach. I think he is creative. He's got to get back in the lab. I think he is now feeling all. I think in the past, maybe he hadn't had to feel everything that comes with being a head football coach.
Mm-hmm.
It is a daunting deal. And you could just see it's almost like he's going to have to adjust. Maybe he has to do some things, maybe do more delegation, having more people around, which I didn't think was possible with a staff of 150 people. Maybe you need more. I don't know. But it was not his best season as the head football coach of the G&G. And for as much as I appreciate Eric saying this was a great season and everything else, I think from a fan's perspective, what is the signature moment of this Packers season? What is it?
In a good way?
Yes. Well, in a bad way, you could look at 100 things. I mean, the kick return yesterday probably be it. But what is the signature moment that's like, all right, now, what is it from this year? The blocked kick against the Bears? Like, really?
You're right.
What is your signature moment of the 2024-2025 season? I think that explains where we're at. It was a nice season, but there was nothing special about it when you really look at it. And that's from a fan perspective. Players, there's different stuff. I think Kraft doing that little kip, that to me is one of my favorite parts. He bulldozes a guy and then he lands on his back. And I'm telling my kids, this is what I want you guys practicing. Learn how to kip. You can do that. You can accomplish anything you want athletically. His kip, outside of the block kick, is probably two of my favorite plays of the year.
I'm so proud of you as a gymnastics dad that you know what a kip is.
Well, it's also CrossFit when I used to CrossFit, and I know you don't have to tell me.
You used to CrossFit?
I did, yeah. I did. It wore my body out.
What?
I did.
Pre-pickleball, Tausch was a CrossFitter.
I did
There's something to explore.
I did like an 8-month deal. Yeah, Stitch blew his pec out, and our whole thing fell apart. Anyways, what is the moment? What is your guys' moment and this will be another thing we could put up on Facebook or whatever you want, Jesse. Yeah. What is your signature moment in a positive light from this year's Green Bay Packers football team?
The first thing.
Back to back.
No, it's a signature moment. You don't get it's not a diary.
The first thing that jumps out at me, like the time I was most proud of the team this year, was when Malik Willis stepped in and they beat the Colts running it 1,000,000 times with Josh Jacobs in week 2.
I'm asking for a moment.
Yeah,
I'm not asking for
Josh Jacobs dominating against the Colts and winning with Malik Willis in week 2.
All right.
Brandon McManus walking it off
against
Houston in his first game with the Packers and sprinting to Lambeau Leap.
Okay. There you go.
That's
I don't have one off the top of my head. And that's my
pretty
point.
Lame signature moment for a season that you think back on and say,
this sounds crazy, but this was one of the most mundane 11-6 seasons you're ever going to find. And if you are going to try to do something big, you got to have big plays. And it could have been yesterday. Yesterday could have been one of those big signature deals, and you start building off of it. Not there.
No. All right, we need to get some more of your calls. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. I also have a request from the dwellers for a little more of reading of the comments from the YouTube stream. So I will try and do that as well.
Very needy group over there. Don't hear the texters being like, read our text, please.
Want to remind you, and I know you've been watching this on the news. Sydney and I were watching it the other day again. It is so tragic what we're seeing in California, and I have a couple of friends that are out there. They're not among the uber wealthy. They're just regular people that live in that area, and watching these fires continue to rage. They're trying to get them contained before the winds are supposed to pick up again later in the week. And if you are able, we ask that you please help the people affected by the California wildfires. Donate to the Red Cross at redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross respond and help people recover. That's redcross.org/ESPN to donate. More of your calls and texts and maybe even a YouTube comment or two next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcast for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you. All day, every day. The Carbless talk and text line is open for you.
First off, there is not one team that's on the fringe that scares me.
800-990-3776. The Carbless talk and text line. This is more. Spending more time at home? Don't forget that 94.5 ESPN's on your smart speaker. Just ask Alexa to open 94.5 ESPN. 94.5 ESPN on Alexa is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
At UW Credit Union, our home loans have everything you need for your next big step, including up to $750 off closing costs for all home buyers. And first-time buyers can save even more. So if you're ready to trade roomies for more room, or your townhome for an out-of-town home, UW Credit Union will be with you from start to furnished. UW Credit Union. Apply online today. Equal housing lender. Credit may be limited as required by program. Visit uwcu.org for details.
Looking for the most popular answer. What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. Yay! It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. With inviting doors to let friends and family in and beautiful energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is hosting another Scramble tournament with $750 in cash prizes available. Hey, ESPN Milwaukee, this is Gary Ellison. And Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center invites you to play in a two-man scramble at Pebble Beach, all from their comfortable golf simulators. Grab a friend and sign up today at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com. The tournament costs $120 per pairing and is happening now through January 31st. Your winter chance to play Pebble Beach awaits. WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, the certainty of protection and income are the keys to success. And as a former NFL player myself, I have experience with both. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game films helped me mentally prepare for the challenges ahead. Now I star in a new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception to help you visualize and prepare for your fourth quarter of life. You see, you don't retire on your nest egg, but rather the income it can produce. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. And it's free for you to view. Call 855-620-1801 right now for your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Don't risk your retirement savings at the goal line. You don't need to be risky to have a winning strategy. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Call today. 855-620-1801. That's 855-620-1801. MitchLyonsWealth.com. Your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Stay up to date on the green and gold all season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
In an effort to engage our dwellers, I am chatting with them. That said, we got a lot of calls. In fact, Jesse, a proud moment. Full phone lines.
We did it.
All right, let's knock out at least 3 in this segment. At least.
All right,
so I'm going to shut up. Let you get to work.
All right. So
they like to talk to you, though.
They do love to talk to you about your seat heaters. Let's try and be concise as best we can. Let's start with Jamon in Dallas. Jamon, what do you got for us, buddy?
Few positive and negatives. Tausch, I actually want to touch on, he was asking about the moments this year. Just watching Adrian Cooper go out there any moment he was out there just put a little confidence in me as a Green Bay fan.
No doubt.
Knowing we have somebody who's going to sprint to the ball and really make effort to try to make a play. So one of my negatives, it'll be the offense. I can't just blame LaFleur because there was a few mistakes that we caused on ourselves. First play of the game for us, Josh Jacobs going out on the flat, he's open, and as we all know, Jordan Love almost throws a pick on the first offensive play for us. So those are things that you can't blame Matt for. So I don't want to just bash him, but he has to get his guys ready because it's a playoff game. So you have to talk to your guys. And the penalties, also the shoving by Nixon and T.J. Slayton, like this is a playoff game. This is a win to go home. Like your emotions can't get in plays like that. You leave it out on the field, put it out on the guy, not after the play. My positives, the defense. I think we did real good against a good team, actually. I don't think any of us expected us to really do as good as we did against the Eagles offense. And I just as a whole, as a Packers fan, I don't want anybody to just take it as a bad thing that we lost. I didn't have an expectation to go to the Super Bowl this year. I mean, last year we exceeded expectations, but we're still part of a rebuild. I mean, we're still the second youngest team to make the playoffs. So I didn't see a Super Bowl this year. Just wanted to be better than last year, which I think we did. So I think there's only improvement from here. We've got great rookies coming in from this upcoming draft that just passed. Hafley's a great coach. Just got to work on a few things with offense. And, I mean, I think we're a few clicks away from, hopefully getting into a championship game, an NFC championship game. Like you said, if not, then you have to start looking at the head coaches and wondering if he's the problem.
Yeah, Jamon, I think the best point that you made there, and I don't want to lose sight of this, and thanks for the call, is that let's not lose sight of the growth and improvement of the big picture, even as we look at the smaller picture of, say, the offense and the play action game, which I think is a 1,000,000% valid critique.
Yes.
They have to figure out how to take something that is really good, which is Josh Jacobs' ability to run the football,
and
still do what you did in the passing game. That, to me, is the biggest fail of the season, that you had something that was transformative, and it unfortunately also transformed in a negative way your passing game.
Yes, that is a fair critique, and I do think, and there's been so much negativity, and I understand how the flow of this thing goes. We've been doing this with you long enough now, and I'm fine. As a fan, I want to ride the wave. As players and coaches and all that, you don't. You have to fight that. It's hard because you hear and you see this season, there was a lot of things to be happy about. I think the defensive side of it, and Jeff Hafley is at the top of the list as far as what you're happy about. Josh Jacobs at the top of the list. Tucker Kraft, yes. A lot of things that you're excited about building into the future. That doesn't mean there's not concerns. you have to look long and hard and think, are we good enough on the perimeter on both sides of the ball? That's a question that Goody and Matt and everybody else is going to have to figure out, and my guess is they're going to say, no, we need to be better. And what I love about this group is when they make that, we weren't good enough at safety. We certainly are now.
No doubt.
Anybody's going to argue that. Do we need to find more? You always need to find offensive linemen, and you're never going to have enough. Are we good enough on the edge? And as a pass rushing unit, we're not. What do I think is going to happen? I think Goody is going to look at his success of what he did and say, if the right piece is available, we will pay premium prices for it because it worked. We're not getting into the old man game. But we are very open to getting into a 25, 26-year-old that is a great player that can help us immediately. There's a few of those guys out there that might be available. It's going to be a fun offseason, and let's not get bogged down with the fact that this season we were not good enough. Yes, very fair, but there's plenty of stuff. We're not the Bears. We're not the Raiders. We're a team that is ascending and has all kinds of opportunities to get better. We can be disappointed with what we saw in big games this year and still be optimistic about what the future can hold because there's only one team that gets to reach the pinnacle of what they're trying to do. Do you want to advance further and get your heart broken? Some fans don't. I do. Let's go. I want to see us go in and battle Detroit. And, if they beat us in a gut punch, so be it. We've been punched before. We know how to get up. I'm a little disappointed that we didn't do that and that was a winnable game yesterday. I have no problem if a team, like when San Fran ran all over us, they were better than us. Philly was better than us, but it wasn't because they played some great game. Because we didn't. But that's who we were this season.
Let's keep going with the calls. I do think two things can be true at once. You're not the Bears, you're not the Raiders, but you got a hell of a lot of work to do to be the Lions, the Chiefs, the Bills, this is title town here. And they got a lot of work to do. Their quarterback does, their head coach does.
No doubt.
There's a lot that needs to get done.
Agree.
Because what they did this year, in the grand scheme of things of expectations in Green Bay, Wisconsin is not good enough.
Agree.
So
totally agree.
we can say that they are getting better, and they are. We can say that they're ascending, and they are. But they got a hell of a lot of work to do this offseason with their roster, with their game planning, with their quarterback's development. All those things can all be true at the same time, and they are.
Yes.
Let's keep going with the calls. 844-770-3776. Let's go to Chris in Muskego. Chris, good morning. Thanks for holding on. What do you got?
I basically think the season's over. No sense talking about it because you can't change any of it. Now it's the future.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I understand the season's over, but that's kind of what we do here is we talk about it.
You can do that and look forward. Yeah, you can look forward too.
Forward, not backward. That's the Muskego way.
That's the Muskego champion.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the valor.
Especially when they. Never mind. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, you got Josh Meyer going down. He was in his final year of his contract, so you don't know if they're going to re-sign him or not. So now you got everything's up in the air there. Goody's going to have to realize that in Packers history, you've always had a veteran receiver. You never just put all your cards on the table, went all in with 2 junior, 3-year wide receivers and a bunch of sophomores because in Packers history, other than maybe Greg Jennings and Sharp, they're the only 2 that never had sophomore slumps. You knew you should have had a veteran in there. They needed to replace Kenny Clark, and I love Kenny Clark, but I think he's getting too old and slow. Though I did love what the defense has done this year. And LaFleur, like you guys said, LaFleur and Jordan, they're all going to have to go back and revamp this offense because they look lost from the beginning, the whole season. They just look lost. And I think they got to go back and rejuvenate LaFleur's mind and figure out how he's going to put play action in. You're going to go with the running game, but like Tausch said, you got to have RPOs. You don't have that little fake thing, and they're in motion where the wide receiver comes around, makes a circle around the quarterback, gets in the way of handing the ball off to Josh Jacobs in the shotgun. That's just stupid. And the whole league's seen that playing, and their sweep plays. They had to quit doing them after week 8, basically, because everybody knew they were coming. There was no – for LaFleur being this great offensive coordinator and play caller, he just looked lost. Like he didn't know how to adjust his offense to the new guy they got in the backfield with Jacobs. So I think that's all what they're going to have to do. And they need to get a veteran wide receiver because you can't keep counting on these young guys to learn on their own. They need someone to lead them in that room.
All right, Chris. So let's talk about that point that you made there. T. Higgins is going to be a free agent. Tausch, do you want to sign T. Higgins?
No, I want Devontae back. He's going to be cheaper. Bring him back.
So how has the worm turned?
How so?
We were talking about how at the trade deadline, if you could get Devontae back, we wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm not
want
giving
him.
up. We're not going to give anything up to get him. The Jets are going to cut him.
But now we're looking at this, and I don't want to give up a second. I don't want to give up a second round pick for him like the Jets did.
I
agree. No.
Okay.
I agree. But overall, would we have taken him back at the trade deadline if he had been available for a 7th round pick?
Oh yeah.
Because that was back when we were talking about the Friends ensemble cast and that they didn't necessarily need that guy and all the stuff we talked about for weeks on end.
I feel like I've discussed J.R. Ewing at a pretty high clip for a long time.
Higher than anyone.
Yeah, J.R. Ewing is what you need.
Right, but did you always say that? I think it was more of a discussion of whether you rather wanted JR or you wanted Schwimmer.
It all depends on who that. If I don't want a fake JR, I don't want an AI JR. I want an authentic.
An AI JR.
So with this, I still want my young wideouts to come on, but I don't want to pay T. Higgins what it's going to take to do. I would love to have Devontae back at a salary similar to what he's making, spread out the way you want without having to give anything up to get him. Heck yeah. And I saw on Kay Adams' morning show, Devontae is more than excited. I think he can right a wrong. He was wrong about how this all shook out, and I think the Packers would be more than welcoming for Devontae to be back. Again, everything has to make sense price-wise, but Devontae would be perfect in this role. He's not going to quite be JR, but I think we also have to look and say the ensemble cast of this wide receiving group was not friends. We have to come up with, they weren't that good. We need to, I probably crowned them. They're not friends. I got to come up with an ensemble cast that wasn't quite that good. I don't know who that is yet. Somebody's going to have to help me. Dawson's Creek? But Dawson was kind of a star in that. 90210?
Melrose Place?
That was kind of an ensemble cast. You had a couple of stars, but you had a couple stars and friends. It's just, there's going to be, this ensemble cast was too strong. We were not, there was no Jennifer Aniston. I don't even know if there was a Courtney Cox in that group. I don't know.
844-770-3776.
Saved by the Bell? Saved by the Bell was a good cast. But
you're only thinking of good ones. You have to think of like an obscure 2003 sitcom that made it a year or two.
Tell us about Quick Trip and I'll work on bad ensemble casts.
All right, well, I am struggling with what that is. I'm not struggling when it comes to Quick Trip because life, it is busy. And Quick Trip gets it, whether you're craving fresh coffee, like old tea this morning from Karuba, or if you're getting a grab-and-go meal, Quick Trip's got you covered with variety and quality, fast service. Team is all about making your day easier and better. Clean restrooms to fresh groceries and everything in between. Quick Trip's got you covered. And now it's cold out, freezing out. Make sure your tires are filled with air. Quick Trip's got free air. Head on over. If you're looking for some bananas, jumbo onions, and potatoes, they're all just 29 cents a pound. You can get Quicker Eat breakfast sausage links, $2.49. for 12-ounce. And it's Monday, $6.99 for a roasted whole chicken. And you can get 8-piece tenders on Wednesday. But if you get that chicken today, have a meal, enjoy yourself.
Take a beat.
Thank you. And then you can make enchiladas later in the week. You got those fajitas, everything else. You got pizzas. Quick Trip's got everything you need. Take advantage of it all with the Quick Trip Rewards app. Order ahead for pickup or curbside delivery. Quick Trip, we'll see you next time.
More of your calls next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. And sponsored by American Family Insurance.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Jonathan Zaslow.
I never bought into Green Bay throughout the season. Never. And, Jordan Love is going to get, I think is going to get a ton of attention over the next couple of days. He was 20 of 33, 212 yards, 3 interceptions, all right? And, of course, you go back to the last time we saw him in the postseason. You got the interception at the end of the game in the divisional round. So, dude's got a bunch of interceptions on his resume now throughout 3 career playoff games. Jordan Love was terrible today. And we're talking about a quarterback who got all the money after really just 8 really good regular season games last year in his first year as a starter. He finished so strong, had a nice performance in the wild card playoffs. They give him all the money, and I don't know. I didn't see a jump from last year to this year with Jordan Love.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Something amazing is happening in business. More companies are turning to Mac. From finance to fulfillment, CDW will seamlessly support Mac integration into your organization. With the power of Apple Silicon, best-in-class security, and compatibility across your favorite apps, your team will have the performance they need and the tools they love. Make amazing happen. Mac and CDW. Learn more at cdw.com/Apple.
Hey ESPN Wisconsin fans, Brad Nortman here. Whether you're an athlete like me or just want to feel your best, Quintessa's new wellness center in Brookfield is your go-to for peak performance. With services like hormone therapy, IV drip therapy, medical weight loss, and anti-aging, Quintessa has everything to keep your body running at its best. It's not just about game day, it's about every day. Check out myquintessa.com/wellness and see how Quintessa can help you stay at the top of your game. Your body deserves it.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Look what I found.
What is it?
It's a list of the traditional and modern anniversary gifts for each year of marriage.
Sarah and I use a different list. But go ahead and tell us about yours.
The traditional gift for your first anniversary is paper, but the modern gift is a clock.
Well, our list says the first anniversary is always diamond jewelry.
What's your list called?
The People's Choice.
The traditional gift for your 6th anniversary is iron, but the modern gift is wood.
What a coincidence. For the 6th anniversary, our list says diamonds again. What do you have for the 10th anniversary, Rick?
Traditional is aluminum, modern is diamond jewelry.
Well, there you go. Our lists agree. What have you got for the 7th anniversary?
Copper and a desk set.
Nope. Diamonds again.
I'm beginning to see the wisdom of the People's Choice list.
It's good to have you on board.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Did you make up that People's Choice list, or is it real?
Well, we're people, aren't we?
Find the Kesslers nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Don't believe me, just watch.
calls as the Packers beat or lose. Oh, my goodness. Beat themselves, lose to the Eagles 22-10. Let's go to Brian in St. Paul. Brian, thanks for holding on. Good morning. What do you got for us?
Good morning. Good morning, fellas. I think that the crowd that is turning up the heat on Matt LaFleur is absolutely insane. I do not expect the head coach to make chicken salad out of chicken bleep. And they lost twice to the Lions, twice to the Vikings, and twice to the Eagles. Do the Packers have a wide receiver that is as good as Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, or Amon-Ra St. Brown? Do the Packers have a defensive back that would start on the Eagles yesterday? Is our left tackle anywhere near as good as Jordan Mailata? I think the Packers just have an elite talent problem. Can I just take you back 4 years ago? Not that long ago. They had Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, David Bakhtiari at left tackle, Devontae Adams at wide receiver. They had a good year of Zadarius Smith, and they had a corner in Jair Alexander. Do they have elite talent at any of those positions now? The answer is they do not. If you're a defensive coordinator playing this offense, do they have somebody on offense that you say at any place on the field they could score like the Lions do or the Eagles do with Barkley? I love Josh Jacobs, but he's not going to get a 60-yard touchdown run. I mean, I don't know how you can expect an offense that every drive needs to be 6 plays. If they're starting at the 30, is going to need 6 or 7 plays to score every time. I just don't see that they have elite talent. And I'm not angry at Goody because coming off last year, the reason everybody kept saying how young they were was because you were assuming they would take a jump. So I think it was fair to give the entire offense another year and see who would take that jump. Nobody has. So now it's time for Goody, like he did last year, to step in with McKinney. I think what Tausch said is 100% right. Devontae Adams is the perfect fit. And I also think that there's a pass rusher out there that is probably unhappy and available, that is young and fits the mold, that would instantly add an elite pass rusher. He also happened to be a Raider. And I think it's Goody. He's seen 2 years from it. And now it's time to up the elite talent level so that they're a little bit more on par with, Minnesota, Detroit, and Philly. And the one thing that made them last year able to compete was Jordan Love played elite for 8 games, and he did not play elite this year. So I don't think Detroit, Philly, or Minnesota have elite quarterbacks. So if Jordan Love gets back to that level, that'll cover over a lot of the woes like it did last half of last year. But they definitely have an elite talent problem.
All right, very interesting call. Very interesting call. A lot of things I can't disagree with him about. The concept of going big in free agency, well, you didn't have that opportunity last year because you had the Aaron Rodgers, David Bakhtiari contract. There's a lot of money kind of tied up. You're not going to have that problem this year.
No, you're not.
You're going to have opportunities to go and get guys. I don't know what my boy in Cincinnati, I don't know where his contract's at. Hendrickson? That's who I'd love. I would love to see him. Draft picks and all this other stuff. All of that is fair. I can't argue with a ton of what he's saying. But to act as if this group just stinks and there's no... Josh Jacobs is a stud, guys. Tucker Kraft is one of the best tight ends in the league. He is. The receiving core didn't elevate. I can't argue. Nobody rose to the top. That doesn't mean that you don't have good players. But to say, well, Philadelphia yesterday, how did their top-tier receivers do without having a top-tier DB? Not great, Bob. And I saw
largely non-factors.
Come up. There wasn't a ton there. Jalen Hurts it was not a great day for them on offense either. So there is, when you want to say elite talent problems, Xavier McKinney is an elite talent. When you want to get into left tackle and everything else, Rasheed Walker had a good year, guys. He did. He wasn't the problem yesterday. Not having your other elite talent with Elton Jenkins, that obviously was a big, big problem. But this team is not as far off as I think we saw this year, but there are holes that need to be filled, and they need to be filled in a big way, and you have to do it right, and that's going to be the big challenge for this group this year.
Let's get to another call before we get to break. Let's go to Gina in Eagle, who
was
one
she
of
at
the
the Hope
best
Show?
calls.
Was she at the Hope Show last weekend?
Different.
She was
Gina
on our
from
Hope
what
Show.
Gina, good morning. Thanks for the great call last week. Like the Packers, you have ratcheted up expectations. Let's see if you live up to them.
I know. So, okay. I was Gina Sunshine all week, all the way up until kickoff, but then immediately some big storm clouds rolled in. that was tough. But I'm still optimistic, and I am listening to the show, and I really think that when we look at everything as a whole, everyone is so spot on. And you ride or die, the green and gold, and I saw this earlier from someone that no matter what happens, our floor is most teams' ceiling. So think about that when we really think about, where we're at. So we're still on track. We're year 2 of a total rebuild. And I know that probably this optimistic attitude is a little much on a depressing Monday, but it was a season where, you know what, every time we turned the TV on, we knew our team was in it and had a chance, and we can absolutely go all the way. And if you look back at it, like, we saw Jordan come back from what we thought, my goodness, this could be potential season injury. Josh Jacobs, what else can you say? I love this man. And I think all of us were Aaron Jones fans, right? So
yeah.
Josh Jacobs, what a heartbeat. So, and oh my gosh, can we all just say we feel so much better about our defense than we were a year ago?
I'll join that club. So, I'm in. I'm where.
Yeah. So we get a veteran wideout. Welcome back, Tay. Let's do it. Max Crosby. Josh, get on the phone. Let's do this.
Get him in. Bring him in. Bring Hendrickson, too. I like both.
And listen.
And Bonds and Griffey.
And
Slay. Bring Slay, the DB. He made a heck of a play yesterday. We won't take him.
We are hosting the draft for the first time. I'm going. It's super exciting stuff.
Make sure Jesse has your info. We'll make sure. We're going to do some shows up there. We'll make sure you get over. We're going to need that positivity around the draft. Jesse, make sure you have her info.
We don't even know what we're doing.
No,
what
we're
do you
going to
want
do
me to
shows up
sign
there.
her up for?
I feel very confident we're going to be doing shows up there. Okay.
Gina, thanks for the call.
She is not pessimistic. I'm going to tell you that right now.
The draft! We've got the draft!
Crosby and Hendrickson and Tay. Oh, my.
Big offseason coming up.
I have already texted Devontae Adams asking him, are you just doing Kay Adams show these days, or can you make some time for me and old T? Because let's start beating the drum, baby, right now, because I am, as you well know, 1,000,000% on board with that idea.
It makes too much sense. The Jets, maybe they're going to pay him what they owe. I will be shocked if they do, as they're going to totally rebuild, unless they keep Aaron Rodgers, which I'll be shocked. Whoever they hire, if they do, Tay would be perfect to come back. Perfect.
All right, I've got about 9 minutes before the Packers locker room opens for locker room cleanout, so I want to get to break, and then we'll get to a couple calls, or at least one more call before I depart and Jesse slides over like Chris Collinsworth into my seat. Want to remind you, I've been telling you now for years and years about Associated Bank and their great customer service and how they're the bank of the Packers, and you get Packers checking, you get your Packers debit MasterCard, and you get a 10% discount at the Packers Pro Shop. But they are so much more than just the bank of the Packers with great customer service. They've got more than just banking products. They've got your back. They've got Credit Monitor. You get your free credit score, credit and fraud alerts, and more from anywhere, which comes free with balanced and choice checking. They've got early pay on direct deposits, up to 2 days early with direct deposit. No hoops to jump through. It just happens. They've got $50 overdraft grace zone. No fee if you overdraw your checking by $50 or less. They've got you covered there. And free overdraft protection on transfers as well. You need a funds fill up. Automatically move money from your other associated bank accounts with no fee and no charge. Plus 30,000 plus surcharge-free ATMs, money monitor, actionable insights, which allows you to get a better idea of your subscriptions that you've got that you're auto-paying, debit card controls, everything and more. Check out AssociatedBank.com to get in the loop on all the great qualities that Associated Bank has to offer. More of your calls next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. Even when you think you know what's going on.
Craig, you don't pay us to be cheerleaders. There's plenty of other shows that do that, okay? You know what you pay us to do? Be right.
You can never be too sure.
Chewy, I wouldn't play that game. buddy. Hold back. I was with you, then you went a little too far.
Drop that.
Packers, nonsense, chaos.
I pay you all to entertain, which you do all the time, and you do a fantastic job.
Did you? Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See AssociatedBank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Who's looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
Mark Tauscher here for Kohler Services. If you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now is the time to turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel and no payment financing until 2026. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Kevin Moret for Mentality. Guys, carrying extra belly fat can make you feel frustrated and self-conscious. And let's face it, it changes how others see you. Most new Mentality clients start at only 1/3 of the free testosterone they need, which makes losing that stubborn fat a real struggle. Our doctors specialize in restoring free testosterone and combining it with semaglutide, which targets fat while keeping your muscle. Feel confident in your look again. Visit mentalityhealth.com/radio for a new year offer and get started today. That's mentalityhealth.com/radio.
Looking for the most popular answer. What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. Yay! It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. With inviting doors to let friends and family in and beautiful energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
Stay up to date on the green and gold all season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Austin here from our friends at Best Electric Service. An A-plus Better Business Bureau family-owned and operated who have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's making panel upgrades to your home, new LED in lighting, electric vehicle charging, and all residential service calls. Best Electric provides quality service at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric Service. Find out more at bestelect.com.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
I'm a hazard to myself. Don't let me get me. No, I'm my own worst enemy. It's bad when you know yourself.
We'll get back to your calls during the 11 o'clock hour while I'm in the Packers locker room for locker room clean-out.
What is the one thing you want to find out in this clean-out?
I want to talk to Keyshawn Nixon. I don't think he talked after the game last night in Philly. I want to talk to him about the play. I want to talk to
the penalty was garbage. I wouldn't even bother.
Totally agree.
That shouldn't have been a penalty.
Not that one. I also want to talk to TJ Slayton, whose final play as a Packer could have been his penalty, which was knuckleheaded. No doubt about it. But we have some breaking news from the NFL from Tom Pelissero. Mike McCarthy is indeed out as the head coach of the Cowboys. So they blocked him from interviewing with the Bears, but they didn't keep him either. So Ian Rappaport reporting that the Saints and the Bears are the two teams interested in Mike McCarthy. We will see what happens there, but the Cowboys moving on from Mike McCarthy. Tausch, your thumbnail reaction, not necessarily a surprise.
Not shocked. I'm glad that he was able to get through that season, but you just sense that they're looking to go in a different direction. And, Mike, I thought, did a good job handling this season as a lame duck coach, which never happens. Mm-hmm. And I'll be curious what the Bears are thinking, if they want to have a veteran coach that's been very successful or if they're going to go in a different direction. But it's a bummer. I think Mike did a good job in Dallas, and that time has come and gone.
Raise a Blue Mountain Coors Light in his honor, because I know how much you love it.
All right, Coors Light brewed with that 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and it is cold packaged, so it's made to chill and make sure those mountains are blue. That's when you know Coors Light's cold activated bottles and cans are chilled to perfection. That's why it is Coors Light in my hand when I need a moment to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
All right, the 11 o'clock hour starts in 2 minutes, and if I'm back in time to close things out, I'll be here. Wilde and Tausch continues next.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Mark.
You wake up feeling like you just boxed 12 rounds. Some wake up sweating with sore jaws, headaches, and a lot of our patients complain of brain fog. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and these signs, often joined with snoring, are sleep apnea symptoms. And if this sounds like you may have been in a struggle last night between you and this serious disorder. Many people aren't willing to fight back. But the fact is, you can't go through these nightly struggles without ramifications that each night chip away at your life's expiration date. I get it. You don't want to wear a CPAP mask. You may find out you don't need one. We have every effective sleep apnea solution available. And believe me, the mask is the last resort.
It's time to take action to stop your sleep struggle. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority with the latest technologies at their state-of-the-art Brookfield office. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. And now, Holtebeck Eye Center is excited to add Dr. Nausheen Abbas to their team. Dr. Abbas is an ophthalmologist and cornea specialist that is now available to see patients. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol, learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
It started with a prediction.
Gonna go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch. ESPN Wisconsin, Wisconsin On Demand, and the ESPN Madison and ESPN Milwaukee YouTube channels. I am Jesse Nelson, and I am the producer of this show. I slide over to this chair right next to Old T here in the Everlight Solar Studio at ESPN Madison because Jason is at player availability. End of the season locker clean out is what they call that, Tausch, right?
Yeah, that is exactly what they call that.
So one of the great things that we get to do on this show every day, every week, especially during the football season, is Jason has the access to those players and the coaches, and so for him to be able to go and catch up with everybody today as they get ready to leave Green Bay for the end of the season is super important. We're going to hear a lot of that commentary tomorrow and throughout the rest of this week, so in the meantime, you get us reacting to the Packers' 22-10 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday in the wild card round of the playoffs. Special shout-out to Jim, Matt, and Molly producer, primetime Ryan Wollersheim, stepping in.
What a stud.
To run the 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch.
I mean, even on the days you're here, you're taking off?
That's how this works,
A full
Wooly.
hour off in the middle of the day?
I've perfected the science. You'll learn someday.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still getting there. Still learning the ropes, obviously.
And we have full phone lines, and I'm going to do a better job than Jason did at getting to those calls
Can't
fast.
do much worse.
I am going to do it on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Liss is more. 844-770-3776. Let's get to your thoughts following the Packers' 22-10 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. Old T's going to react to you as well. Let's start with Adam in Madison. Adam, welcome to Wilde and Tausch. Packers lose in the wild card round of the playoffs. Gesundheit, Old T.
Thanks for taking my call, guys. How we doing today? My biggest thing is the more the season went on, the more I agreed with Jason that we are a year away. That being said, outside of one or two stat categories, the season really wasn't as bad as it seemed on paper. We lost 6 games. 5 of those were one-score games, so 5 plays go a different way. We're sitting at 16-1. That being said, the biggest category is we led the league in drops. I don't think Jordan Love is the issue at all. I quit counting at like week 7, but we had at least 3 or 4 drop touchdowns and 3 or 4 interceptions that bounced off our guys' hands. When it comes to LaFleur, I think he just needs to keep it simple, stupid. You're playing the Eagles. They have the best interior D-line in the league, and you're running right up the middle. We're not doing any blitz beaters, no screens, no slants, no RPOs, no play action. I'd like to see him get the ball outside, get it to your playmakers. Jaden Reed was non-existent after week 10. I'll get off, let you guys take over.
5 plays from being 16-1.
I forgot. Now I can't sneeze. I hit my cough button, but you decide not to hit yours.
Well, mine
so
was. I
understand.
When
it's just it's annoying. It's annoying.
One call in, we got issues already.
The blitz beaters. Philadelphia didn't blitz yesterday. That was not the issue. The play action pass and not having an answer to what they did in the middle of our offensive line was the big problem. But there needs to be. Jason and I have discussed this at a pretty big clip, and there's no doubt. You need to start figuring out ways to get big chunk plays, and I do think you need to address the receiving spot. I was wrong. The ensemble cast was not Friends. It was something else. We'll have all offseason to figure that out, get a new clip, get a new graphic up there, and try to piece that together because there were too many drops. And even yesterday, Malik Heath unable to get his foot down in a game where it was still not over on the 4th and 2. The touchdown that should have been, if Romeo Doubs doesn't get hurt, is that a touchdown on that out right at the goal line? Malik Heath trips. The timing was off. Jordan threw it where he needed to. So I can get on board with, would it have been a better season for Jordan had the receivers elevated their game? Absolutely, yes. All those things go hand in hand, but the bottom line is it was disjointed. We didn't see the big jump that we hoped. And when that doesn't happen, you have to start doing some supplementation in order to try and get that group to be more efficient.
What do you think of the commentary 5 plays away from being 16-1?
That's I've been in that conversation before. It's polluted. Don't mind it. Fans can do it all they want. Players, you win and lose close games because you are in position and you find ways to get it done. When you don't, you get what you deserve.
844-770-3776 is the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Less is more. We haven't even really touched any of the texts on the text portion of the talk and text line. We'll do that before we wrap up at noon here today as well. In the meantime, let's go back to your calls. David in Pennsylvania, and I talked to David. See, this is what's fun. I was taking the phone calls. Now I've slid over here. Now I'm bringing him onto the show. David is not an Eagles fan. I can confirm that.
Okay.
So I thought
I'm just glad this is fun for you. That's good.
It's very fun.
I'm excited.
I wish you were having more fun.
I'm not happy today. I don't know what you want.
I'm not either.
Well, it sounds like you are. You're having fun. David, what do you got?
There we go.
Hey, good morning, guys. I was at the game yesterday. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, live in Denver now, but went to a tailgate with my brother's neighbor, and before the game, it was, besides having to explain why I'm a Packers fan, it was, do you guys think you have a real shot? Do you think you have a real shot? I'm like, yeah, I think we have a real shot. And, during the game, I mean, whenever we were down by 6, I think that everyone in the crowd that thought that the Packers didn't have a shot, they were nervous. The pressure was on that team, like we talked about, and I just think that it just kind of summed up the season where they were there, they had a chance, and just couldn't come through at when you needed to step up and make a big play against these good teams. So Jason was wondering positivity for next year. I mean, yeah, I definitely think I looked up at halftime and the defense had held them to, I believe it was 124 yards or something. And, that's a far cry from years past where we're getting run all over by San Francisco in the playoffs or something like that. So I think that's a good building block, but I just think the game kind of summed up the way the season was, just not quite there to get over the hump. And I thought if they could beat Philly, that would give them momentum, and I thought they could really make a run. But
I agree with that.
Kind of.
Yeah, thanks for the.
Just kind of went the way it was. So.
Yep, thanks for the call. I think that's how most of us are feeling today. Opportunity squandered, but were we good enough to take advantage of opportunity squanders? The answer is no. We just were not all season, and we were not ready in prime time to be ready. We just weren't. So when that's the case, you shouldn't be upset when you're doing what you've been doing all year. Like, that shouldn't be, oh my gosh. You hope that you can elevate. We weren't good enough to do that elevation, and when that's the case, teams that are better than you will beat you, and that was the case yesterday.
We hear a lot of people say all the time that you don't want to be in the NBA when you're in like that 5 to 8 range, where you're not elite,
like
but you're not good.
Where Pittsburgh's at is the middle ground. You don't want to be in no man's land in tennis and in pickleball. No man's land is a spot you don't want to be. Get up to the net or become a baseline player. If you're standing in the middle, that means you don't know what the hell you're good at. Green Bay is not there. Green Bay is not middle ground. Green Bay is, we want to get up to the net. We just can't quite get there in time, and they're hitting good shots, and we're not able to make the big plays when we need to. That's where we're at when you want to get it into tennis terms. Pittsburgh has been stuck in the middle forever, and they need to really think. There is nobody here that is thinking there are some fans that think Sir Kirk Benkert, burn it down. What the hell are you talking about? Burn it down. Idiotic. That's not where we're at. This is a growth. We're growing. You don't just shoot up to be 7'. We're in the Kevin Garnett era where he's developing his skill set, and you know what? If he continues, he's a 6'1" dude in high school, all of a sudden he has this big growth spurt with all this skill set, you get something special. That's what we're hoping for. Doesn't mean we're going to get a foot growth spurt. This year we did not grow to the degree that we hoped. But defensively we did, and that's where the optimism, I think, is coming from.
The Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line, 844-770-3776. Less is more. Let's get to one more call before we get to our next break. Let's go to Spencer in Minnesota. Spencer, you're on Wilde and Tausch with Jesse and Tausch. Packers lose 22-10 yesterday to the Philadelphia Eagles. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of Matt LaFleur stuff today, but I think I'm kind of going with that, too, and how it went in with Jordan Love and just the offense second half of the year. I mean, a couple of weeks ago in his pressers, Matt kept talking about, how he trusts his gut. I don't even think he does trust his gut at this point anymore, and I hate kind of talking like this, but I really think he's just not a great leader, and he kind of lacks that confidence, and there's been a bit of a trickle-down effect. I mean, you guys remember when Rodgers left and, we were going into the season, what the big talking point was, and Mark Murphy even said it, that now we get to finally see the Matt LaFleur offense. I mean, it's 2 seasons now, and I still don't know what the Matt LaFleur offense is. It feels like he overcorrects, and he doesn't coach the team he has. He, coaches the team for the week. And that's what he says every week, too. We're going to take it 1 week at a time. It's like he's focusing too much on attacking the weakness of the defense rather than having something that you can go back to every single week. I mean, you remember the little screen, bubble screens we'd have where Tucker Kraft would lead block and we'd throw it out to Jaden Reed or Josh Jacobs? I feel like I haven't seen that since the bye week. And it's like Matt lost confidence in Jordan Love, and Jordan Love lost confidence in himself. Remember last year, the Thanksgiving game where he was just ripping balls to Jaden Reed, in that red zone, that touchdown between defenders? Love stopped taking those risks. I don't know how injured he was, but it clearly, I don't know, something was affecting him there too. And we were undisciplined all year. This is what really irked me and why the Bears game was so bad. Matt talked about having to practice better fundamentals, all of this. Then the last regular season game of the year falls apart because, he wasn't following his own fundamentals. He apologized to the team in that locker room afterwards, saying that it was on him. So the guy who's, preaching fundamentals all year, not making these stupid mistakes, he makes a stupid mistake like that going into the playoffs. Absolutely brutal. And the leading two, this is what I'm curious about. He brings in Robert Saleh, Luke Getsy, can't move on from Jason Vrabel. He's the passing game coordinator now. Are there too many cooks in the kitchen now where Matt doesn't know what he wants to do at this point? And here's something I haven't thought about. What if Robert Saleh becomes the Niners defensive coordinator next year? Was his time in Green Bay a pro or con for the Green Bay Packers that now he worked with Matt for a full year? And I'm sure there's little idiosyncrasies that he learned about the offense, and now he's going to one of the bigger, competitions in the NFC. I don't really love the way he leads this team, even with something that Jason's been talking about, how Rich Bisaccia is so close to Joe Barry. And he's the assistant head coach. Did Rich Bisaccia get into Matt's ear after the 2022 season to keep Matt Barry as our DC? Because, I love Jeff Hafley. I hope to God he comes back next year. He doesn't want to move 2 years in a row. But what if we moved on from Joe Barry a year earlier and we hired Brian Flores to be our defensive coordinator? I'm in the same group with you. I'm all over the place here. Sorry,
Spencer. It sounds like you're going through it right now. It sounds like you're going through it, buddy.
It's a long season. It's disappointing. I get it.
It's long season. Yeah, long season. Lots of thoughts going through. Ended on this. I would sign Davante Adams. I agree with you, Tausch. He's going to be cheaper than anyone else. I think he can lead that room. You look at that wide receiver room. Who leads it right now? The most experienced.
Christian Watson.
Jason Vrabel. Yeah, him. You bring in Davante Adams. He can teach these guys how to actually be pros. And on top of that, we talked about the second half of the year. It became the Josh Jacobs offense. Who do you think talked to Matt the most about what they could do on offense? I'm sure Josh talked to him, and that's what the offense turned into. If you have Davante Adams in that building, it's hard to think that the passing game isn't going to get better because of Davante's influence.
Yeah, and thanks for the call,
All over the
Spencer.
place.
Spencer was everywhere. I love it. Spencer, keep that enthusiasm. We got a long off season. There's a lot of things you hit on there that I found very interesting. The Devontae, we're going to agree on that. All of the other things that you talked about. Matt LaFleur had a tough year. He did. And he's going to have to kind of figure out how he wants to approach this next phase. I mean, he is a good football coach. I think he's very creative with his offense. I think he got caught. He didn't quite figure out what he had this season. I don't think his receivers could beat man the way he needed him to, and teams played them differently. And he has a running back that is a different style than what Aaron Jones did. And a lot of the things that he likes doing, they were unable to figure out how to make it work. All of those things can be true. That's where you have to go into the lab and figure it out. And when Goody brings in different talent, how we incorporate, that's why the offseason is important. It's why you want to have that. And what's disappointing to me is you were better early in the season than you were, and that's the first time I've said this in a long time with a Packer offense. The group did not get better from Thanksgiving on. That's another part. Slow starts. There's a lot of things to examine, and they'll have all offseason to do it.
844-770-3776, the Carbless, ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. List is more. If you're on hold, stay there. We will get to you coming up. I promise. I answered most of your phone calls. Jason is at Packers end-of-season media availability in the locker room. We're going to hear plenty of what the players had to say tomorrow and honestly throughout the day today as well on our ESPN Wisconsin shows. Tausch, I had a lot of fun playing Prize Picks over the weekend.
How'd you do?
I up and down. I came out about, I'd say, even for what the whole weekend was. Had a nice win with the Broncos-Bills game yesterday. Went 4 for 4 on a flex there. Misread Jaden Daniels and the Commanders last night, so props to them on the upset win. I did not see that one coming. Didn't do so hot on the Packers.
Yeah, it was tough. Like the kicking game, obviously, old boy not making that one kick. Not great. I had a good day with the Ravens-Steelers game. LJ went less. Boswell less. My boy, Henry with a big tutter. So I had a good day there. Packers, kind of the same thing. Didn't have the greatest day, but I did have fun with Prize Picks. It is the best place to get real money sports action. And you know what? Like Jesse just said, you take your sports opinions and you can turn it into real cash. You can win up to 1,000 times. You can run your game all season long on Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. And it is playoff time. Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. The best way to win real money, and you can do it in less than 60 seconds. Download the app today. Use code WI. You get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Again, use that code WI for the great state of Wisconsin. $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks.
Run
your
game. We like Puka tonight? I think so.
I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see a. I don't know what to think of tonight's game. It's in a different spot. There's a lot of questions. I would think that the Rams will move the football a little bit, but Minnesota's defense, pretty dang good. Pretty good. I think you'll see a little bit more of an offensive struggle tonight. Playoff football, everybody tightens up.
I'll take that advice into consideration. More of your calls and texts, and I might even dive into the YouTube comments if we really want to get dirty with it. That's all coming up.
We only got one call done there. We got a bunch to hammer through. We only got a half hour. Let's go.
Packers lose to the Eagles. More of your reactions next on Wilde and Tausch.
The Homer Hour with special guests every day from 5 to 6.
You would vote the opening of the show should be Brett Favre as an alien.
If a guy wrote a song for me, it would probably be my opening.
All right.
That's just me.
Well, but how many other people do you think have written a song for me?
None.
Pepper, what's your vote?
I will say 0 as well.
You guys are so mean and accurate.
Thank you.
The Homer Hour with Homer. Weekdays from 5 to 6. Right here on 94.5 ESPN and streaming live on YouTube.
Be the MVP of gift giving with a Milwaukee Bucks gift card. From exhilarating Bucks experiences to unforgettable Fiserv Forum events, your gift card recipient can score tickets to Bucks games and other events through the Ticketmaster box office. Shop exclusive gear at the Bucks Pro Shop or get a favorite snack at Fiserv Forum's concessions. It's a win-win gift that lets them choose their experience. To purchase a gift card, visit bucks.com/giftcards.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, the certainty of protection and income are the keys to success. And as a former NFL player myself, I have experience with both. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game films helped me mentally prepare for the challenges ahead. Now I star in a new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception to help you visualize and prepare for your fourth quarter of life. You see, you don't retire on your nest egg, but rather the income it can produce. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. And it's free for you to view. Call 855-620-1801 right now for your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Don't risk your retirement savings at the goal line. You don't need to be risky to have a winning strategy. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Call today. 855-620-1801. That's 855-620-1801. MitchLyonsWealth.com. Your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Save big money on your bathroom upgrade now at Menards. Transform your bathroom with our great selection of Lions showers, bathtubs, and surrounds that match your style and budget. Lions knows how important design and function are. Their acrylic products offer strength and beauty that you can rely on for years to come. Check out our entire selection of Lions bathroom products today on Menards.com. Plus, view the weekly flyer for other great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
I'm Dr. Jasmine Zapata, Chief Medical Officer for Community Health at the Wisconsin Department of Health Services. Every year in the U.S., about 21,000 lung cancer deaths are caused by radon, an odorless, tasteless, and colorless gas. 1 in 10 Wisconsin homes has high levels of radon. Does yours? Call 1-888-LOW-RADON or visit lowradon.org to learn more. Test, fix, save a life.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Experience, knowledge, and results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Stay up to date on the green and gold all season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Show podcasts, team-centric feeds, and listening live whenever, wherever. All of that in the palm of your hand. The Wisconsin On Demand app, available in the Apple or Android App Store.
Wilde and Tausch, Jesse and Tausch for the time being. Jason at the media availability as locker cleanout takes place at Lambeau Field this morning. Plenty to talk about from all that. Catching up with the players tomorrow and throughout the rest of this week on Wilde and Tausch. In the meantime, we're taking your reactions to the Packers' 22-10 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. List is more, 844-770-3776. Got several still on hold. We're going to try and get to as many of you as we can before we sign off at noon. So let's start right away with Chris in Kenosha. Chris, welcome to Wilde and Tausch. What you got after the game yesterday?
Hey, good morning, guys. I think you guys do a great job every day, especially after yesterday, getting people to step off the ledge, keep it kind of real. But I think my positives would be the defense and Josh Jacobs. And I think my negatives was the play calling and also, and this wasn't just yesterday, but throughout the season, is Matt LaFleur's time management. That last drive before they turned the ball back over to Philadelphia, it seemed like they were wasting a lot of time in between plays, and I kind of noticed that throughout the season. I kind of think Matt LaFleur went to the Eberflus School of Time Management.
Well, let's not get that crazy, Chris. But Tausch, was that a conversation piece on the post-game show, Green Bay Game Night last night?
Just the clock management.
Yeah, LaFleur in the
not
final.
as much yesterday as it was obviously after the Bears game with the debacle that ended at the how the game ended. I think yesterday was more big picture, why this kind of played out the way it did.
All right, Chris, thanks for the call. 844-770-3776.
Fans are definitely souring on Matt LaFleur.
No doubt. That's been a theme all day.
And I think, as far as are they too sour, in my opinion, I'm not going to tell you if you feel a certain way. I thought Matt LaFleur had a bad year. I think this was his worst year as a coach of the Green Bay Packers, and that includes, the 1 seed and how the playoffs played itself out. This was a challenging year, and to be able to do what he did with Malik Willis is the highlight of his season, by far. But with Jordan Love, it's just the way this team finished on offense was disappointing. The way his approach throughout the year was disappointing on some fronts. I am not in the camp of fire LaFleur or any of that. You learn lessons, and you just hope that you're going to improve. He has to figure some things out moving forward if this team's going to take a step offensively. He brought in the right defensive coordinator. He's gotten that part right. I think you have to look long and hard what you want to do special teams-wise. I think Darren Rizzi's somebody he wanted to hire a few years ago. Is that going to be a move that he's going to make? You have to continue to keep things fresh. I'll be curious what he does in that realm.
We have so many reactions to get to today. Ryan Wollersheim is our temporary producer, Primetime Wollersheim. He's putting up several of your texts on the Carbless ESPN Wisconsin text portion of the Talk and Text line. Lists is more up on our video stream on the ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Madison YouTube channels for you to see as we continue on with the calls. Let's go to Ryan in Fort Atkinson. Ryan, welcome to Wilde and Tausch with Jesse and Tausch. Packers lose 22-10. What you got?
All right, thanks for taking my call. I believe that the overall issue with the Packers right now is the team president having more control of the team than they should. I remember when Harlan was team president and he basically gave control to Ron Wolf for coaching, hires, and all that. And I think they need to get back to that.
Okay, Ryan, thanks for the call.
Well, you're going to have a new team president. I can't imagine he's going to give power up. I don't know what Ed's policy is going to be.
Nice.
Thanks. I knew you'd like that.
Pretty good.
I don't know how that will shake itself out, but I don't envision a ton of change in that realm. I am of the Bob Harlan school of thought. I firmly believe in that. That's not how Mark wanted to approach it, and they've had success. It's not as if we haven't hired good people. Now it's how well are they working together? Are the voices still collaborating to put your best football team out there? We'll find out a lot about how that is viewed this coming offseason and the approach. I think everybody loved what we saw in the free agency market last year.
844-770-3776. Let's get to one more here. Jim in Saukville. Jim, you are on Wilde and Tausch with Jesse and Tausch. What you got, Jim?
Yeah, first off, I got to agree with Tausch. Everything is around expectations, and it's much better if a team starts off bad and improves, because one of the criteria I apply to whether, a team is good or not is that it seems that the better teams do get better throughout the year. If we look at the Patriots, if we look at, Kansas City Chiefs, other good teams, it seems that I've written off those teams early on in the season in the past only to eat my words when later on they go on to winning the championship. But it's all around expectations. But the reason I'm calling is I just want to kind of seek consensus or agreement, because I continue to hear a lot of frustration and almost anger over Packer fans reacting to hearing about the Packers being young. And I just want to suggest that part of the problem is they see it as an excuse. At the end of last year, most fans were anticipating that this year was going to be much better. That obviously didn't play out. So let me suggest this. In terms of youth and the team being young, shouldn't we define that or classify that in this way? Meaning that if you look at the chronological age and the football age of most of our starters, that is, in terms of how much experience they have in addition to their age, they're going to be 27, 28 years old. And that for the most part, our youth is represented by the fact that we got a bunch of players that are still going to be in their prime or at their ceiling the next couple years. But it does not mean that we can sit back and expect them to improve and elevate their play to where we're going to grow into a championship team. That there has to be moves to be made.
Yeah. Jim, thanks for the call. Appreciate you staying
Jim,
on
here's
hold
the
with
deal.
us.
I agree. I heard last night on postgame and just looking through some Twitter stuff that I put out last night, stop making excuses. They're young. Well, the facts are the facts. But one of the things that I also noticed and what I believe is going to happen, general managers and coaches look at what was successful and how do we replicate that. Your biggest successes of last year were your 2 free agent signings in the offseason. Edgerrin Cooper's great. Yep, we all love what he can do. Evan Williams is some good draft. It's always been draft. Goody and Matt LaFleur both, I think, are like, we're there. We're in the mix. We need whoever called earlier about elite talent. If there's somebody that's elite and they're in that age range that Goody likes, you best believe they're going to pounce. And I think that should make Packer fans excited as well. But the youth excuse, I'm with you. This is the last year that I think anybody can do it. And even then, I think most Packer fans are like, this is the team you decided to go with. You could have added some other younger or some other core pieces, veteran offensive line. You could have done that. They did with Dillard. You didn't. That was your choice. Now you have a little cap room to make a move. There is no more of that.
I think from what I saw last night, even into today, that youth conversation is going to be one of the biggest conversations of the entire offseason. Does the team look to get older in pursuit of a championship next year? Do you expect the growth to take place from this year to next year like we expected from year 1 to 2 with Jordan Love? And I think that's going to be the overarching conversation of the offseason.
The question is the growth going to be enough? Because if the growth is what we saw this year from the receiving, it's not. Tucker Kraft, growth good. Real good. Edgerrin Cooper, is that growth going to be good? Good. Real good. Some of the other spots, no. And if you're not growing into being the player that we all hoped, there's a difference between being a rookie and then you go to your second and third year. You can't just play at that level. You need to become that guy because you're going to start getting paid like that guy. It's different when I'm paying somebody $400K or when I'm paying him $44 million. I expect more. And if you're not getting that, those resources are allocated to you that they're not going somewhere else, and you can't have it in this league. You can't put big money into players that aren't delivering big-time results.
844-770-3776. The Carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Liz is more. If you're on hold, stay there. We'll get to some of you still coming up. Some of you might have to roll over into Alex Strofe Show, Mr. Irrelevant, starting at noon. We'll see how many we get. Coming up next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Looking for the most popular answer. What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. With inviting doors to let friends and family in and beautiful energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Tom Kelly's carbon fiber mountain bike. Because more than riding his carbon fiber mountain bike, Tom loves telling people about his carbon fiber mountain bike. Friends, family, even a local barista knows about his carbon fiber mountain bike. And that's why Tom's carbon fiber mountain bike, if you haven't heard about it, is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with a sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a Honey Buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Join Milwaukee Panthers men's basketball for an exciting weekend of hoops action at UWM Panther Arena. On Friday, Milwaukee takes on Youngstown State at 7, followed by a Sunday matinee with Robert Morris at 2. Experience all the action, including rim-rattling dunks, clutch three-pointers, and game-changing blocks. Tickets start at $13. Help tilt the floor. Visit MKEPanthers.com to select your seat. Panther Athletics for the MKE.
Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. And it is playoff time, now or never. Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Prize Picks, the best way to win real money this football season. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money. Download the app today. Use code WI. You get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Is it time to buy an engagement ring?
Or a big anniversary diamond? Kessler's has diamonds that come from diamond mines. And we also have diamonds that come from plasma chambers.
When you see the size of the diamond you can afford when you look at our high-tech newborn created diamonds,
You're going to be happy, happy, happy.
and with approved credit, our financing plans make anything possible.
Our selection of engagement rings is beyond compare. And our custom design department can modify any ring in any way you choose. Anyone who says they can give you a better ring
Or a better diamond
or a better price has never been to Kessler's.
at our miraculous no small print warranty says.
If you bought it at Kessler's, it's guaranteed. It's just that simple. And all maintenance is free forever. No charge.
Yes, it really is that miraculous.
You found a partner you want to share your life with. When you're ready to celebrate, we've got a diamond for that.
Find the Kesslers nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
Start the day with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
When you're paid like an A player, you have to play like an A player, not a B player, and he has never played like an A player.
On 94.5 ESPN, streaming on the Wisconsin On Demand app and on video at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Wilde and Tausch, Jesse and Tausch, Jason at locker room cleanout at Lambeau Field.
Sounds like Jaden Reed, according to Wes Hodkowitz's tweet. Shoulder, no surgery, should be fine for the offseason, which is good news.
I also saw a tweet during the break. Jair Alexander didn't want to speak to the media, said he didn't have anything good to say, and wondered out loud if he'd be back next season.
You're not going to be back, Jair. I feel fairly confident in saying that. But Mom always taught you.
We'll do a.
You don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. So I don't have a problem with that.
Just doing what his mama taught him. We'll do a full rundown of what all the players had to say today. Matt LaFleur, I think, is speaking with the media later today as well. We'll get to all that coming up tomorrow on Wilde and Tausch. Still plenty of reactions to get with you, though, as the Packers fall 22-10 to the Philadelphia Eagles in the wild card round of the NFC playoffs yesterday. A few more to get to before we sign off at noon. Let's go to Dave in Sun Prairie. That's a nice town, Sun Prairie. Dave, how you doing?
Pretty good. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Dave. What you got?
Well, I was going to say I was disappointed, but the game played out exactly as I thought it would. Mainly because I think the Packers are a very good team, but they're not a championship caliber team. They just don't have enough players to get them over the hump. They've got the running back and the safety who have a championship attitude, but the other players just don't seem to have it.
Championship attitude.
Every year, right.
What do you mean by that, Dave? When you're watching again, what does a championship attitude look like to you?
Well, I think, for instance, Jair Alexander is a champion. He would never let a tight end manhandle him the way Carrington valued the cornerback did. That was actually embarrassing.
What about when Jair went out as a captain when he wasn't even dressing for the game and wasn't an actual captain? Was that championship caliber?
No.
Okay.
That's poor coaching.
Poor coaching?
He's been like that for a long time. Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know how to verbalize it, but
yeah, I get what you're saying. It's a mentality, and I think yesterday, and this was one of the things I saw watching Get Up, and thanks for the call. One of the things I saw on Get Up and some of the other shows this morning was the physicality, and you could show clips. I do not think Green Bay is a soft football team. I do not think I thought you don't run the football as effectively as they do and stop running games by not being physical. I think Goody has built a physical crew that they've done a pretty good job. Now, if you want to talk about the mentality and how you start football games and some of that, I am all ears. I think those are conversations. What can we do to be better there? What can we do better to handle adversity in games so we don't have idiotic penalties throwing Saquon to the ground because we're irritated? That is something that needs to get addressed all offseason. There is no doubt about it.
It's almost like we had a conversation a few weeks ago about emotions being exhibited on the sidelines, and then over-emotional plays come
It is
to factor in
something
the playoffs.
that I think Matt LaFleur's going to have to take a long, hard look at what his approach and how it trickles down to the rest of his team. He's got a lot of good leadership guys in that room. He is a good football coach. I don't want to get that lost, but there's things he needs to get better at.
I forgot who committed that penalty yesterday. Was that Slayton?
Slayton.
Yeah,
TJ,
so
yep.
LaFleur's demeanor on the side, it may not impact guys like Jordan Love or Xavier McKinney, but it could impact guys like Slayton. And when they're in a big moment,
I'm not putting that on that yesterday. I'm talking about challenges. And we'll have plenty of times to get through that. But this team did not handle adversity and couldn't come up with making the big play. And that goes on defense, too. You make a stop when it's down 6 and get the football back, all of a sudden that's a whole different game. And that's when you decide to not make a stop, and not that you decided it. Philly, to their credit, goes down and scores to go up 12 on the Goddard double whammy, whatever you want to call it. And that was essentially Rap City, USA.
844-770-3776. The Carbless, ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Less is more. Craig in Brown Deer. You're on Wilde and Tausch with Jesse and Tausch. What you got following the Packers' loss yesterday?
Well, I, like almost every Packer fan, was thinking after Christmas we'd go on this great run. Instead, LaFleur turned into the Grinch and gave us stink, stunk, which was really disappointing.
Yep.
But we all went into the season going, guys, if we just fix the defense, we're golden, right? So the defense is fixed, and now we got an offensive problem. And whose fault is that? And with the play calling and all this stuff going on and guys just not seeming to be open, it's always a tight window, and I think that's why Love's stuff has suffered. I don't know what's going on, but LaFleur is definitely on the warm hot seat. I mean, guys, he's right now, will you agree, we have the third best head coach and coaching staff in the division. I mean,
for the time being, we'll see what happens with the Lions, though, Craig, because those guys might split. Aaron Glenn's got interviews.
Well, they might split.
Johnson.
We got to hope for that, but we also got to hope.
Craig is 100% right. You can only judge off of what the season ends after the Super Bowl. For this season, from last Super Bowl to this Super Bowl, we at best had the third best coaching staff. No doubt about it.
No question.
Craig, thanks for the call. Appreciate you, man. 844-770-3776. That's tough to swallow.
You took third place. It's not. It is what it is. I think the question is, you know what? You get like a little burst in the pipe, and you put something here, and then all of a sudden there's water coming here, and then the defense is fixed. Well, now that's what you try to avoid. And right now, I think Green Bay, there's still issues on defense that need to get addressed. this is not a team that was ready to win a Super Bowl. I think we all hoped, and I think to Craig's point, you believe because in the past it's been a certain way, ascending, getting better. Offensively, that just did not happen in the passing game this season, and that's why it's the 13th of January, and we're already wrapping up and getting into the postseason and getting into what's next.
At some point, we'll talk about the 7 seed and how the Packers wouldn't even have been in the playoffs a couple of years in a row.
I don't know who brought that up. We've heard it before.
I think Erica in Milwaukee was the first one I saw.
She did, and then on the postgame last night, the fact that if they had not expanded the playoffs, this whole conversation, if we don't beat Dallas last year and have San Fran on the ropes, Matt LaFleur, you talk about the seat warm. You don't make the playoffs 3 years in a row in Green Bay, you ain't the coach. Period. So there's a lot to dissect. We're going to have a lot of offseason to do it. But right now, this season, we did not make the steps and take the steps that we hoped. I think you can say there's some things that you feel good about, but I think there's more question marks now than there were last year when our season ended.
844-770-3776. We got to our final thoughts following the Packers' 22-10 loss to the Eagles yesterday in the wild card round of the playoffs. Next on Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. Even when you think you know what's going on, you can never be too sure.
What's the matter with my camera?
Can you straighten up?
You are in the bottommost corner.
Hold on.
There's nothing wrong with what he's doing.
Packers, nonsense, chaos.
Hey,
I didn't come to work to get yelled at today.
Any day Chewy shows up on any camera, not sideways, it's a win.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, morning 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
As a bull rider, I prefer to do things single-handedly. That's why I love the UW Credit Union app. Doggy! It lets me check accounts, make transfers and more on the go. And if I need an extra hand, UW Credit Union has 13 Milwaukee area branches. Yippee! So, if you want simple mobile banking, mosey on over to UW Credit Union. They're here for every y'all. Federally insured by NCUA.
Experience the timeless charm of the Knickerbocker on the Lake, Milwaukee's premier boutique hotel. With its stunning architecture and modern comforts, every detail tells a story. Whether it's a romantic getaway, a business trip, or simply a night away, you'll find elegance, history, and a warm welcome waiting for you. The Knickerbocker on the Lake, where every moment feels like a chapter from the past, written just for you. Visit knickerbockeronthelake.com to book your stay today. An unforgettable getaway awaits.
Are you heading into the new year with the same old joint pain? Or maybe you experienced a new injury that gives you joint pain that is nagging you. Hey, this is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. There is no better time than the start of the year to refresh, renew, and say no to that joint pain. QC Kinetics is your go-to solution to get moving again in 2025. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine and joint preservation. They are right here in Greenfield and Mequon under the leadership of Medical Director Dr. Ashley Caravelli. When I visited the Greenfield location, QC Kinetics exposed me to a whole new world of regenerative medicine. So much in their toolkit to be able to get you your life back. They helped me, and they're going to help you with your own personalized journey to be able to make sure that you are starting 2025 back, active, and living a pain-free life. Call my friends at QC Kinetics for your free consultation. Call QC Kinetics today at 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Who's looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball.
This week, Marcus and Chris are joined by Steve Jones, host of the Dunker Spot podcast.
Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority with the latest technologies at their state-of-the-art Brookfield office. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. And now, Holtebeck Eye Center is excited to add Dr. Nausheen Abbas to their team. Dr. Abbas is an ophthalmologist and cornea specialist that is now available to see patients. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol, learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Wilde and Tausch, Jesse and Tausch. Jason's at end of season player locker room availability as they clean out in Titletown following a 22-10 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles in the wild card round yesterday. Our apologies to the callers we were not able to get to on today's show.
I thought you were going to be better than Jason.
We were better. We just had a lot of them. I didn't take the official number. I set the over-under at 17.5. I think we hit the over.
Okay.
For the overall show today. For those callers who are on hold, Alex Strofe is coming up next with a special 2-hour edition of Mr. Irrelevant live here on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison. So you can stay on. Strophe and Hunter Vaughn, Mr. Gerald Ford himself, they'll take your calls. Brian Bulaga's scheduled to appear joining those guys. A lot of fun conversation still to happen. And, well, I don't know if you call it fun, but reactionary conversation taking place all day today. Kyle Brust and Nortman in the afternoon. Jim, Matt, and Molly, Homer, the Great Dane Huddle, all those shows still to come all day long. The Damn Sports Show on all of our ESPN Wisconsin stations. So we hope you'll stay with us all day. We're here for you, reacting to the Packers' loss yesterday. Tausch, your final words after the post-game show last night, after our show this morning, your final thoughts on where we stand here in Packer Nation.
Disappointment today, no doubt about it, and I think there's things to be concerned about, but there's also things to be optimistic about where this team started to where they went, and I think defensively, tons of optimism. We saw a team really shut down one of the better offenses in the league at their place in a first round of a playoff. That is a positive. Jeff Hafley is a positive. Josh Jacobs is a positive. There's positives to be had, but I think there are a lot of things that have to be addressed for this team to take the next step. This team is not there. I hope they would. I hope they were going to elevate. They didn't. And now you have to figure out what do you need to take that next step. And that's going to be a fun offseason to try and figure it out.
On to the offseason, but